And happening at this very moment, Jungle God looks to be solving a Rubik's Cube. In fact, you came here for a Valorant broadcast, but we are here for the Rubik's Cube broadcast. If I'm reading this correct, he is going for the Frederick method, which involves solving it layer by layer. So you can see he's going to be doing the bottom two layers at the exact same time, which, as he's rotating around, it looks to me, he's struggling to get a grasp on it, but does a left side twist, and now the bottom two are starting to align. It's a methodology that started by Frederick and most commonly used in speed solving due to its efficiency, speed, and low algorithm knowledge requirements. Well, in a TLDR, he's already got this one in the bag. You do the cross, you do the FTL, the OL, the PLL, and well, you can see the colors starting to align as the Rubik's Cube starts to really form. And oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, he's just second from wrapping this up. It will be a full ace on the Rubik's Cube with the color neutrality, the look ahead, the event acronyms, the scramble. Oh my God. I can't even keep up with it. The accent's going too fast for me to do. I'm going to pass off to my co-caster. Wait, he's solving a Rubik's Cube. And I think you're almost there if I'm reading it right. I don't actually know as much about Rubik's Cube terminology as I would like to pretend. Whew, that's a good warm-up. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Victoris Esports Valorant cast. Yes, we are in fact going to be getting around to a Valorant eventually, as much cubing is happening on that side of the screen. Just to bring you into what's happening, this is week 2 of group stage. The top 4 of each week will advance to playoffs, and well, we're in Group A tonight. We watched Group B last week, had a good bit of competition, and it looks like Juggernaut's just about to wrap up that Rubik's Cube over there. But this week we're going to be covering Bot Frag Friends versus the HNGIs. And these are two teams that, well, they won both of their matches last week, so they're both undefeated as of yet. And that's going to be kind of the fun thing is who's going to actually end up dropping a map, and will Juggle God put this together? He does! Didn't even need to say a word before that. Wipe away a little drop of sweat, huh?
God, yeah, that one was one of the longest solves I've had in a while. You did it great, though. I have to say, I really made you work for that one. But I am excited to be joining you now on the broadcast.
I'm glad to finally have you here, but worry not. I have much to say about these two teams, so I'm just going to continue running right into it.
You do.
So from the side of Bot Frag Friends, in case you're not in the Valorant server for Victoris Esports, they had a win, but it was a 2-1 win. They lost Fracture at 11-12. It was pretty close. And then they brought it back. They won Haven and they won Bind 13-2 and 13-4 respectively. So they it was a close match, and then they were like, no, we're done. And then from the other side, HNGIs, they won both of their maps, and they won Haven 13-8 and Bind 13-4. So the same thing. It was kind of close, and then they just demolished them. Both of these teams demolished the other team on Bind. So I want to see Bind. I feel like that would be the most exciting.
No, it absolutely would be, and I believe if I'm reading the notes correctly too, Haven as well was another map that both of these teams played. So we already know that they both like the same kind of maps. But the interesting thing that I think is they like these maps, I believe, for different reasons, right? Because we've got Bot Frag Friends who really like rotation heavy maps, right? And they play a very, very offensive game as well. Whereas you look at HNGIs, I'm not entirely sure how to say it. Maybe we get some help from chat or Prod. Maybe chat can help us and Prod can tell us. But HNGI, I'm gonna go with HNGI. I don't know. It's what's sounding right to me right now.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah. All right. HNGI, they are a more defensive-oriented team, right? If we look at some of the stats last week, they had 3 defuses per game.
Can we actually look at the map picks and bans as they're coming in?
Oh, yes.
That we're getting those live right now. We could talk about those as we're talking about the rest of this. Like you said, the HNGIs are more defensive-sided, and the map picks are coming in now, so we're going to be seeing which side they're picking and whether they're going to get to play to that. And in terms of the map picks, it is HNGI banning Breeze and BFF, Bot Frag Friends banning Ascent. So, vetoing, sorry, I got to get the terminology right. And Ascent being banned is definitely good for Bot Frag Friends, as Brezzy has an 80% win rate on it. So I think they probably looked at the same stat sheet I did, and we're like, okay, we're not letting him get on his home turf.
Exactly.
So defensively, you were saying, what can we expect from the team?
Right. Well, we've got they have about 3 defuses per game, right? Which is a lot more than we see on the side of Bot Frag Friends. They lead in terms of the stats on the offensive side. They have 7.3 plants per game. So it's interesting because they seem to like the same kind of maps, but they have a different play style. One, Bot Frag Friends, going to be more offensive. Kind of makes sense. It's in their name. Frag Friends, right? Bot Frag Friends.
Well,
so we're going to expect them. Yeah, we're going to expect them to click some heads. That's what they're telling us, at least, or trying to. Whereas Hingis, they're definitely the more defensive oriented team. So I'm going to be looking to them on the defensive side to see how their post plant, how their site retakes look. Right. Neither of them, I think, has like a hugely defensive team. When I think of a very defensive team, I tend to think of them having more than 3 defuses per game. That's still, more than bot frag friends. But it's going to be fascinating to see how these two teams go up against each other.
Well, and you have to keep in mind, it's 3 defuses per game, but that's not 3 defensive wins per game. They can be winning these rounds through just frags alone, which and having those 3 defuses on top of that means that they've done all the fragging or they've gotten a ninja defuse. But it's kind of leading us to believe that they'll have a slight advantage there. But like I know, this is only week 2. We have only seen Botfrag Friends on 3 maps, Hingies on 2 maps. There's so much left to be uncovered. And on the side of Botfrag Friends, not only have they not played Hingies, they've barely played with each other. They've only been together for 2 months, but they're having all the success. And I think that could be attributed to the way that they're all, fraggers. Like you were saying, they call themselves the Botfrag Friends, but they all have positive KDs. If we're looking at their records just from last week, they were dominating, not a single negative KD on their side. Capkin was at, even, but that's close, and that's technically positive, and we are going to see Icebox come through for the first map. And that is, I want to point out, I'm actually not surprised that Hingi selected that map, because Daddy Long Kev, their player to watch, or I would say their player to watch. He has 80% win rate on that map. And it's not over a small data set. That's over all of last act.
Right, exactly. And something to mention too is that this is a kind of map that also plays into what Botfrag Friends likes to play too, right? So even though Hingi selected this map, this is a rotation heavy map, so I can expect to see them playing well. And hey, look at this, we're gonna get Haven. I'm excited. This, I think, is gonna tell us a lot. I mean, it could be, it's the second map, it could be the one that decides the series, but we are going to Haven. We are gonna see, I think, both of these teams playing at the peak of their ability, right? They both like this map, and I think they're both going to have strong showings on it. So, this is gonna be exciting. I'm happy for our map pool already. This is
if we're gonna already start our gambling and our betting. Not that I would gamble. I do not endorse that.
Let's call it bambling. Let's go for it.
In
New
theory,
term.
yeah. If we're doing our bambling, I would put my Bamble coins onto Botfrag Friends for map number 1 for the reasons you said. They said themselves in our interview that they love heavy rotation maps like Icebox, and they're playing Icebox and they're playing Attack. These are both of the things that they have going for them to start with. And same thing on Haven. Hingi picked defense. So it's going to be Battlefield, Botfrag Friends, sorry, not Battlefield, Botfrag Friends to be Attack on both of those maps. And Pearl does end up getting vetoed, unfortunately. I enjoy Pearl, but Fracture's going to come through in the end.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is that Hingi decided to ban Bind. Even though that was a map that they took, 13-4 last week? Yeah, 13-4.
Both of them took 13-4.
Same score that Botfrag Friends. So maybe they just saw something that they didn't like in, the Bind game. Maybe there was a certain agent pick that came, that Botfrag Friends used, something like that. Maybe it was like, okay, we just don't want to go up against this strategy on Bind. Because I do find it interesting that they ban it.
I'm going to give them credit here for that ban. So they banned Bind, but that leaves Botfrag Friends to either play Pearl or Fracture. Pearl, which they're going to have even less experience on, or Fracture, which is the one map that they lost last week, albeit at 11-13. So they left it to their 2 potential weakest matches. While they know that they did good on Bind, they also went 11-4 or 13-4. So they only left the up in the air style maps up for choosing. So I'm going to give them props on that, whether or not that was intentional. Sometimes there's just happy coincidences.
Right.
But that's I think the only thing going in Hingi's favor, in my opinion, on this map selection.
Yeah, I like it. I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, we're going to be loading into the game, I think, relatively soon. But there's one last bit of information that I want to bring up, and that's that today Breezy is actually going to be subbing in for social studies for Hingi. So we talked about this a little bit before the show, and there's a lot of questions surrounding that, right? Especially because looking at Bruzy's recent win-loss record, they haven't been performing at the top of their game. We'll put it mildly. So this is somebody who's maybe in a little bit of a had a little bit of a slide currently. So that's competitive though, right? Which is much different from a team setting.
Yeah, Bruzy is my player to watch, but not for the good reasons, more for this will be interesting. We have Daddy Longkev to watch for the frags to see if that's going to be their carry. But Bruzy is one of the weaker players in this tournament at Plat 2, or in this matchup at least, at Plat 2 as opposed to Diamond 2, a whole rank under the other team, most of the other team. And here's the catch-22. They have had a lot of negative KDs. It's in ranked, so with a grain of salt. A lot of negative KDs recently, but they're also their team captain. So they provide a lot to the team and do a lot and are heavily invested in it. But I'm not sure if they'll be able to live up to Social Studies, who was playing for HNGI last week. Social Studies had 6 first bloods last week, which is more than anyone other than Daddy Longkev on their team. Yeah. So taking out those first bloods, is Bruzy going to be able to fill that? Is Bruzy going to fill some other different hole that they didn't need? Like, is there some other gap that they're going to provide? I'm really not sure. They have a good KD, but is that going to translate to helping out their team? And that's kind of my final note as we're waiting to load into this match. Is BFF Friends has more firepower, like I mentioned. They're more offensive. Like just even beyond what we've already discussed, HNGI just has like lower KDs in last week and lower headshot ratings, like overall, if you take the averages. So given that they have lower firepower, do they just have really good team cohesion? And is changing up the puzzle in that team going to change it up too much?
Right. We're going to have to wait and see. I did notice something right as we're getting to load into the game, and that's that BotFrag Friends are going to be on attack first time, or every single map. They're going to be on attack every single map first. They picked it on Icebox, which again I think plays into what we're likely going to see from them, which is an attack-heavy style. So, and that right out the gates, I think is going to be really exciting for us too, Easel, because we're going to get to see BotFrag Friends in their element as well as HNGI in their element. So honestly, whoever wins this first half of Icebox, I might have to give the edge to for the rest of the series. Because think about it, right? If BotFrag Friends is attacking first on every single map, right? They're in their element, in their prime situation. Momentum is so important in this game. If they can get early momentum by being on the attack, starting things off every single time, we could see them, I think, really make a strong showing. And to be perfectly honest, they are my favorite tonight. BotFrag Friends are my favorite going into this.
For the exact same reasons. That's exactly why I was saying this map pool heavily favors them, because they're getting to play offensive, they're getting to play on the types of map that they like. But on the other hand, if HNGIs can, at the very minimum, get map number 2, they actually do have a chance on map number 3, because that's that unknown territory where we're uncertain if BFF Friends have had even enough time to prepare for that, because they talked about it being a newer team, especially this being a newer map. They weren't sure which tournaments are going to be including it, so they probably haven't prepped it as heavily. And so given the fact that they didn't perform good on Fracture and Pearl are both kind of dicey, and they're playing Fracture, right?
Fracture, it is Fracture,
so they're going to have to fix their mistakes, and that's where it's going to be up in the air. So I wouldn't count HNGI out just because of this map selection, given if it does get to that later half, they can definitely have a strong running.
I think you've brought up a very good point. If Fracture ends up being the deciding map, then we might have to give an edge to HNGI, especially because, not only we're just speculating purely based off last week and the performance of BotFrag Friends, right? Yeah. We don't know anything about how HNGI plays on Fracture. This could be a map they're very practiced on as well, right? This could be one that they feel very strong on. It could be multiple reasons why we're seeing it.
Yeah, and because we didn't get to watch.
Hold on, who banned the last map?
It was bot frag friends banning, but they banned Pearl in favor of
but they
Fracture.
banned
So they
Pearl.
banned the
Yeah,
newer map, which is
Yeah.
kind of expected.
Yeah.
And so we're loading into the games now, but on that exact same point, and I completely lost my train of thought because we were talking
I'm
about
so
the
sorry.
bot fans. It's okay though, because it doesn't matter. We're on to the next thing. We got the agent selects coming through now. It does look like we're going to have Tarkin, Kepler, Clickhead, Mathander, and ABC on the side of botfrag friends, going ahead and locking them in. I was saying ABC is a sentinel in their role, but just in the fact that they almost completely main Chamber, who is technically a sentinel, although we all know more so a duelist.
Yeah.
And they love the op crutch, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing that out of them.
One thing that's interesting to me right offhand is HNGI's isn't running with the Sage yet. They're not hovering over it as a pick at the moment. Whereas we've already got that classic combination of Sage and Viper locked in for bot frag friends. So already, again, I'm liking what I'm seeing a little bit more from bot frag friends, but again, we haven't locked in on HNGI's side either. This Brim choice is weird to me. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Well, in theory, it's weird, but looking at what Stefan normally likes to play, they are a Brimstone Sage main. So the fact that they're going for Brimstone over Sage isn't weird for their own performance. They do good on Brimstone. They're comfortable in that support role. Yeah. And I was actually interested to see whether Burzy or Bruzy would be the one going through on the chamber pick on the side of HNGI. And it does look like it's going to be Bruzy. So Burzy, Burzy's going to end up running with the KO, which is their other main. They're not playing out of their comfort zone. But they just got their chamber pick stolen from them by the captain of the team.
Captain, right? Yeah. Well, that's interesting to me too, because when you put somebody on chamber, you're expecting them to perform, right? Mechanically. And if we've got worries about Bruzy, then I've got worries about the chamber pick as well. I think that might be compounding problems, because if he were to play someone else who's maybe a little, isn't as critical that they may be mechanically on, then they may have a better, chance. The team might have a better chance here. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. These things are very day by day. Streaks happen. You go through rough patches. Doesn't mean you're gonna have a bad one on the very next game. So I don't want to count him out by any stretch.
From personal testament, I had a terrible win streak last act, and this act I went like 6 and 7 in my games, winning most of them. So it can really just depend on, like you said, your momentum and your personal confidence even at that point. Coming into the first map, speaking of confidence, we have botfrag friends on attack pushing up B long, and they're doing it slow to start, which, reading into their stats, isn't how I expected the aggression, but it's a good way to play the aggression, so there won't be a full rotate that they're being forced into as they're pushing onto site and the first shots start to be exchanged.
Burzy goes down relatively low, down to about half health, or the spike will be planted. Classic Sage Viper setup here. The wall's about to go down. That's going to give Stefan an opportunity to poke through, see if they can find a head. Sage has to back off just a little bit. Clickhead is moving away now from the spike, giving a little bit of room now to HNGI. We've got our trades coming in now. Botfrag friends still up by 1, and the spike in a pretty good position as well. That's going to be a couple shots coming in now from Stone Wolf from behind yellow. They're going to go for the defuse. Daddy Longkev going to have to peek here soon, but the spike diffuser is down. Does Daddy Longkev have enough time to get it? They didn't get it halfway. Clickhead's going to come in. They do get the kill. Is there enough time for the defuse? It's going to be so close. Not quite. Botfrag friends will take the first round.
Unbelievable that it goes down to 0.68 seconds. I was like, surely there's no time, and there was very nearly time. Look at that. It's an ace from Daddy Longkev on the first round. Daddy Longkev, I mentioned, keep an eye on him. Definitely keep an eye on him, and if you blinked, you missed it, because they just took out everyone else's head. It's that 1.15 whatever KD. It doesn't really matter the specific stats. They just look amazing.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. So even though Botfrag friends took that first round, honestly, HNGI looking amazing with Daddy Longkev at the moment. So is the carry potential of Daddy Longkev going to be enough to give them this win? We'll just have to wait and see. But already Stonewolf has a kill. That's going to be bot frag friends. Both teams down to 3 players. So there's now a very fast push onto site. They're not going to have the Sage Wall this time to give them cover. So it's just this Viper smoke screen instead. Toxic screen. We've got Captain now peeking around yellow. Waiting to see if anybody's coming down long. They do have 2 players starting to push that way. Daddy Longkev, the hero from last round. Trying to get a little bit of information here. They're going to notice Capkin back there. Now they've got him in a pretty good situation. The drone's going to come out as well. But if Stefan can move quick enough, they can get him in an odd rotation. Bruzy goes down to Mythrander. Stefan now does get the shot onto Capkin, but they're down to 22 HP. They've got to start moving. There's not enough time to defuse, especially with the molly out there. Doesn't quite land, but it doesn't matter because the shots are there, and bot frag friends takes the second round.
You mentioned HNGI looking good even though they lost the round. I don't necessarily believe that. I think it is just Daddy Longkev looking good. Now it's 6-1, still with a respectable KD. They still got a kill on that round, and they had some good pushes. I want to say they looked better, I would personally say, in that round than the previous one because they had a really good flank going. But BFF Franks adjusted to what went wrong for them in the first round. In the first round, they all waited behind yellow and in B main, which is really dangerous. They had no map control. That time they swung all the way down to Snowman, so there wasn't a chance that that spike was going to go down to 0.68 seconds. They had a better eye on it and a better map thanks to the map control.
Gonna have a very quick rotation through mid over towards B side, led by Clickhead. Stefan, though, is there with the 3K to stop everything in its tracks. Spike's gonna go down. Just Viper left on the side of bot frag friends. And, well, friends, the frags were on bot frags this time.
I feel now may be an appropriate time to mention Stefan hasn't lost on Icebox in months. If you look at Stefan's stats, they haven't lost this act, they haven't lost last act. This is over the course of at least 10 games. Yeah.
Wait, this is the Brimstone who I was questioning too.
Well, yeah, when you said maybe Brimstone, I was saying they're still comfortable on that agent. It might not be your conventional pick for this map, but this is where Stefan is comfortable, on Brimstone or Sage. So I wasn't upset about it, especially because of that stat. And in addition to that, they haven't lost on Fracture. So if we do end up going there, Stefan is definitely a player to keep an eye on. And Stefan's on the wrong side of the map, but Daddy Longkev is there to anchor it down.
Yeah, and Clickhead is down already, who was one of the big contributing factors to BotFrag Friends' win last week. ABC pushing in now. We've got the null command out as well from Mythrander. Got the flashbang going out. That's going to make things hard for Daddy Longkev. They're taken out almost immediately. Spike is going to be planted, but at the meantime, we do have Mythrander going down. Remains to be seen whether anybody's going to be able to get them rezzed, though. They're in a tough position because there's 2 people up here on Heaven who've got an eye on Mythrander, so they will go down eventually.
It is Burzy and Stonewolf that get the picks, and as this defuse is coming through, it's behind a Viper wall, so they just spam. Wow. It ends up coming through. ABC gets the spam. They got it halfway, though, so all they have to do is wait a couple seconds, stall out just a second, and they're able to do that. So although they don't end up killing everybody, they do get the defuse through, and HNGI get another round on the board, going to 2-2. They're good at getting the defuses in. And we talked about, are they frag wins? Are they defuse wins? What makes their defense look good? And maybe it's a little bit of both.
It certainly could be. One thing I noticed as well a couple minutes ago that I hadn't had a chance to mention is the fact that HNGI is running double controller. I think this plays into the fact that that we're expecting them to be a more defensively oriented team too. So much map control comes from running both of these controllers. We're gonna have most of BotFrag Friends clustered up towards mid. Spike hasn't been picked up just yet. And now that there's a Viper's Pit on A, we're likely going to see the push out onto B. But in a moment, Daddy Longkev is going to peek up here. The question remains, who's going to get the first shot off? ABC is going to instead rotate up through Kitchen, but he's going to be met by Daddy Longkev as well. Doesn't know that there's 2 people there. There swings, gets 1, gets the second, gets the third! Daddy
on fire.
Longev!
Spike down.
Oh
attacker
my
spawn.
lord!
It's all left to Captain with just Capkin with just a pistol. They have their eyes on one person, but that might be all they're able to collect other than a rifle. Now in a 4v1 with 50 seconds left on the clock and no eyes on the spike, Stefan clears it up, or Steven. Should have asked them beforehand, but we'll just have to go back and forth on that for the rest of the map. That one just ended up falling apart. I was surprised to see that Viper's Pit invested into what was definitely going to be a pistol round, given how heavily Bot Frag Friends invested in the last couple of rounds. But it's a nice way to make sure that you're not letting it get too dicey, because they're respecting their teammates at that point with that. But now if you're checking out the scoreboard, we do have an even buy coming through from both sides. When I was looking at how these players played, it looked like they used a lot of Vandals.
Right.
In this case, HNGI are going for Phantoms, so that's an interesting change in their typical, maybe when they're playing a little bit more in these team environments, we were talking about what makes them good as a team, just getting the chip damage. And playing more for that. And that's the other thing. Phantoms on Icebox, not as typical. I run it, but I wouldn't expect all these teams to be running it.
Yeah, that's very true. It maybe says to me that they want to push more on site A, just because it's a little bit more close quarters. But in the meantime, Daddy Longev continuing to mow down players left and right. Finds one with the Hunter's Fury. Sends out a sonar, but the push has already come in through to B. Flickhead will find the res, so everybody's back up to full, at least for a moment. HNGI now down one as Burzy gets clocked and sent back to spawn. ABCB has a little bit more map control. Now we're going to see the Hunter's Fury coming out, this time from BFF. Sage wall goes up. We're going to see the spike planted. Stefan's able to get a little bit of damage in. Puts the molly down. Gets a little chip damage onto Clickhead. We have the Viper's Pit as well committed. Shock Dart gets a little bit of chip damage in too. Tarquin going to throw in the molly to keep anyone off the spike. See if they can get a cheeky kill. Not going to happen at the moment. Right now just doing a good job. Keeping control of the site. Making sure nobody can push in. We're going to see them start to push in now to the Viper's Pit. That's going to bring them down very low because of the decay. They're able to make it over to yellow, peeking around the corner, able to find Capkin. Now it's going to be Click It and Bruzy Woozy, but no, Bruzy Woozy goes back over. The spike is about to explode. No time left to defuse, and the Bot Frag Friends will return this to a tie game.
Once again, we're seeing the adaptations coming from BFFs. I'll just call them. And the map control, they had the Viper's Pit down, but they didn't rely on that, which is extremely smart. Even just a single stray bullet could take out your Viper. And sometimes teams will play a little bit too heavily into that. When if that falls, then you're just standing out in the middle of sight. But they do have someone flanking around through mid, and they're able to get one of the picks and sort of punish them and prevent them from keeping too many guns and make sure that their economy is looking tough. But the economy is looking tough on both of their sides. BFFs are going to need to put together more than just one round to put the pressure onto HNGI and show us their offensive power that we know that they're packing, because they have the firepower. So where is it? Because I guess they're just getting outplayed so far. That's what's making this go to a 3-3 and not something more dominant.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is shaping up to be a really good match between these two teams. Already, I've been really impressed with what I've seen from both sides. Nice opening pick. Sonar briefly makes Bruzy back up. Weren't detected, so they're able to continue to maintain that position. Got the headhunter out, waiting to see if somebody peeks around that corner. In the meantime, Clickhead just waiting for their team, I think, to rotate over onto B side and start to put some pressure there. They're likely just waiting to see if they can catch anybody rotating out. They're getting a little aggressive here. I think they should wait for it. Oh my gosh, just serendipitously, we see Bruzy turn at the last moment as B side has now been hit completely. Capkin looking to be able to plant, but has to wait for just a moment before they can. Covering fire coming in from Mythrander to make sure that the plant goes off well. Able to get a kill in the meantime onto Stefan. Now Bot Frag Friends in a very dominant position. Just 2 players left.
And they're aware of this lurk from Clickhead. They're not trying to give another free kill away. You can see Sova almost hunting it down, but Clickhead lands the shot anyways. And Viper finally trades it out, but a lot of time has been wasted on the clock in the meantime simply by doing that. Sometimes the lurk isn't about catching the lurk, but just the pressure of the lurk, just the idea. It's like when teams will push forward, shoot the trip, and then fall back. So they no longer have the information, they no longer have the control, all just through playing mind games. And that's exactly what Sage did that round, and being a valuable asset, even if not landing the third kill. 2 is enough, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. They did a decent job putting a little bit of hurt in the economy of bot frag friends, but they do still come around with the round win, get a regain the lead. This has been a very back and forth game, and you remember at the beginning of the broadcast I said I was going to expect whichever team to come out on top of this first half to be the favorite in the competition. Well, right now they are looking just about as close as can be, so I think this is going to be a nail-biter of a match all the way through, Easel.
The only thing that worries me is they're so close, but look at HNGI's side. Daddy Longkev at 12-4. They need him to perform this entire series at that rate if they want to keep up at this pace. If Daddy Longkev starts to slip even a little bit, starts to get punished for these peaks that he's doing on A main, those jump peaks, if they can shut that down, then Botfrag friends have a more well, Bruzy gets an opening pick like that, but Botfrag friends have been having more like they all have quite a few kills, or they, you know, around the same range, and maybe it's just because they're not finding anything special. But that's what I'm worried about. I don't want them to anchor too heavily on their star player.
Right, I think you bring up a very valid point. If they're able to shut them down, they're going to be in a great position. But at the same time, we saw, I forget who it was last week, just maintained an insane KD, really in the very last map. And so if they continue to perform like this, which is entirely possible, they're going to be a thorn in their side the entire time. But as I say, Daddy Longkev is taken out of the equation. So now HNGI in a much better position. BFF able to equalize things, though, but only for so long as well, because Mythrander very, very low, just took one bullet, pops up above that wall, gets their head knocked out. It's a 3v1. They do get the res back off. They peek the corner. Captain's good for one. They hear that somebody's above them now, so they're gonna lurk in that corner. They've dropped, but at this point, there's only 13 seconds left to plant. They're gonna have to take the time to do it, but I don't think there's anybody close enough. Oh, we have the ult coming in. That's not gonna be good enough to do it. Stefan with the kill.
With the 3K on the round too. They're a controller sentinel main, and they're doing them proud. They average a 1.08 KD, or they did last week. They're doing a little bit better than that this week at over a 2 KD, forcing Botfrag friends to reconsider what's happening here. HNGI, we've been favoring Botfrag friends this whole time, but maybe we're not getting enough credit to the fact that HNGI, regardless of any of the stats on the page, they won both of their games. That's it. Bottom line, they won 2-0 last week, and that counts probably more than any of their individual stats. They are a sum greater than their parts, and we're seeing that they're holding off Botfrag friends where we thought they'd have a huge advantage.
You're right, they really are, and that speaks a lot to them. And one of the things that maybe we haven't given enough weight to is the fact that Botfrag friends did drop a map last week, right? Granted, we said it was their warm-up map, but they did drop one. Right now, though, you know, if we take if we take last week into account too, and how so far Botfrag friends is performing this week, they're doing just as well as HNGI. So, you know, was the game this close this early on last week or not? You know, is Botfrag friends outperforming their own pace from last week, and are they only going to get stronger from here?
Yeah, we talked about them starting out slow, but that's okay, warming up, and that's kind of what was put up by then. We didn't get to watch it because it wasn't broadcasted, so we are still left with a bit of speculating into how that actually ended up playing out. Almost gonna get an op chart through the through the scanner, but
Yeah.
the timing just doesn't end up working out. And it's Bruzy backside. Bruzy, being the team captain, has contributed quite a bit in these opening shots, in these first bloods, when we didn't have anything to expect for them. We thought it would just be Daddy Longkev giving them, so maybe Bruzy will be doing enough to not make them so reliant. And their team captain will, well, lead them through.
Well, and I think we can say the same thing about the Brim main. Forgive me, I forget their name at the moment.
Stefan?
Stefan, yeah, I think we can say the same thing about Stefan, because Stefan is keeping pace with the top frag on bot frag friends right now as well. They both have 10. So, yes, we have we have Chamber at the top of the kill feed for HNGI, but it's not like the rest of the players aren't doing an excellent job as well. We're starting to see more of a cohesive team effort coming out from HNGI now.
Our questions are definitely being answered, and I'm so excited to see how it's going to play out from here, because there's so much left for these teams to play us. Only 8 rounds in, and it's 4-4. Both of them have gone back and forth on who has the lead, and Bot Frag Friends have played HNGI like a fiddle, getting a free plant with all 5 players on the site. They don't have map control, but they have a free site, and that's worth a whole lot.
It certainly is. Now, maybe that null command could have been held on to a little bit longer. It would have had more value, but they had no idea to know what exactly was waiting for them on A side, so I can't really fault them. Clickhead goes down, but Burzy is traded out right afterwards. Daddy Longlev giving it a little bit of an advantage now to HNGI as they come back in for the defuse. Bruzy popping over onto the Sage while now looking to potentially go for the defuse. Fakes it, see if they can bring out somebody who's gonna peek. Thrander goes down. It's just the Viper left to go, but they don't get anything out, and the defuse will come in for HNGI.
HNGI looking so good on their retake. Maybe their defense isn't focusing too heavily on stopping the offensive power of Bot Frag Friends, and when they're just gonna focus on the retake possibility, that's when their defusers can start to come through even more strongly. That was a full 5v5 retake. I always say those are really the true judgments of how their firepowers are going to line up, whether they're going to be able to play off of each other. And so HNGI wins that. My coins slide a little bit closer to their pile for this map and for this round as well, with that buy coming through an op and 4 rifles. And I would sure hope that they get this. If not, well, frags, well, they must have something up their sleeve.
What was it? Our Bambling coins? Is that what we're...
Yeah, our Bambling coins. I've slid
our Bambling coins.
I'll put 3 Bambling coins on the side of HNGI. I still have a couple for Bot Frag Friends, but they haven't. Honestly, this is not the attack that I wanted to see for them to hit their win condition.
Yeah, I think I think you bring up a good point. I'm gonna keep some of my coins still, some of my Bambling coins over in Bot Frag Friends, because I'm expecting them to heat up, right? Even after this game. So we'll see who's Bambling coins. In fact, I'll keep 3 on Bot Frag Friends. So we can go toe to toe here on this and see who comes out.
Oh no, I'm not saying I'm jumping ship. It was more like a 7 on Bot Frag, 3 on HNGI.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I'm going 8 and 2 Bot Frag.
Especially with the way that this round's playing.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose we shouldn't be, oh my gosh, putting our Bambling coins in quite yet. Nice kill coming in from Clickhead. The plant will be there. They get the round, and I mean, it's a tie game again.
I said that they needed some crazy strat to be able to get that out from under them. They just swept that round out from HNGI's nose. Yeah. It was just through a slow contact play through kitchen. They were able to find the timings and trading. It's when you have weird weapons, you need to put yourself in weird situations to be able to take advantage of their different ranges, because the Vandal and the Phantom are good at pretty much any range. Like, they're pretty good guns, but there's like the Stinger and the Spectre are so much better at close range, or the Marshal's better at long range. If you can put yourself in an advantageous position for the buy that you have, then it's just as good as a full buy. Well, it can be, and they made it look like it.
They really did. That was a decisive round win, really, from them. As decisive, I think, as we've seen any round go so far. Bot Frag Friends with an opening pick, going to give themselves a bit of an advantage here on this attack. They briefly flirt with the idea of going through kitchen. In fact, they're still flirting with that idea. Gonna be Mithrander taking a little bit of chip damage as they try to rotate through. Bruzy Woozy goes down, actually. Capkin just brays into the smoke and finds a kill. Now we've got a quick rotation over to B side, a plant in an unusual spot as well. So this is gonna make things a little more difficult for HNGI, at least while they're trying to identify where the plant is. But Mithrander catches Stefan looking the other way, and that's a big pick in favor of Botfrag friends.
Giving them so much in this round. HNGI with only 2 people, but Daddy Longkev evens it out a little bit. It is ABC to neutralize HNGI, or Daddy Longkev eventually. ABC being our player, our main player to watch on the side of Botfrag friends. Showing up strong with that op, and now with the time ticking away, more and more of my coins slide away from storing Stone Wolf for this defuse. Especially, they're just sitting in their smoke. They're just hoping for a pick. Nobody wants to give that away for free. In fact, they might even punish this exit.
Yeah, they certainly could. Stone Wolf is going to be peeking through spawn here in a moment. Oh no! Just the tail end of the explosion gets them. That's a feels bad. That's a feels bad right there.
That's an artifact of the weird plant position. Normally the spike might not reach that far, but because it was planted so far towards the middle of the map, it just hit farther than they expected. And I'm not sure Stone Wolf even got a view of the spike. So they had no idea that it would be able to go that far. Should have had a little bit more caution, but didn't end up working out. And now their economy is looking a bit weaker. The other person to watch on the side of Botfrag friends is Capkin, and they are fragging up there. They're providing their teams. They got the valuable picks in the previous round, and they're not going crazy. But they might not necessarily have to be a player to watch, because we are mainly looking for ABC to get these opening shots, or the crazy KD ratios. But you still keep an eye on Capkin, because they are contributing in these very valuable ways with Sova.
Yeah, they really have been.
Standing ahead.
We're going to see Capkin send out a sonar initially. They identify Burzy over near... Oh, man, and they don't have a good way to get out either. They could use some of the cover from this Sage wall. Capkin able to eventually take Burzy down, who does eventually pay for being caught over there. The rest comes in onto Capkin after they're taken out. We've got a Viper's Pit on point as well to try and find a way in, I believe, for the defuse. Stefan now can't get over towards the spike because of the molly as well. Forced off, the spike starting to tick a little bit faster. It's just so many angles being pressured now by Botfrag friends. Hinky doesn't have a way in, and Botfrag friends will come away with a 7-5 half, a slight lead as we switch sides.
Maybe calling it too soon, but honestly, yeah, there's not really much hope for Daddy Longkev that deep in the round, especially when they were pulled away towards mid by ABC. A great play. Once again, only got 1 pick for it, but both of the remaining players left alive were forced to deal with him first and then go for the defuse. So even though Daddy Longkev was still alive, too much time had been burnt. So it is Capkin, in my opinion, well, in addition to all the other amazing plays in the Viper's Pits and the drones, but it's Capkin who made sure that the defuse didn't even have a chance of coming through. So Botfrag friends do finally end up coming with a lead on that attacking half, a 7-5. It is what we said they needed. Like, we needed them to show that they were more dominant on the attacking half, but it's not what I expected. It's not as strong as I expected. And now that the tables have turned, both of them not on their more comfortable side, this half is more up in the air.
Yeah, I think this half, well, it's going to be the more pivotal half, right? Because we get the win at the end of it, but, you know, I wasn't expecting this to be the more pivotal half.
You thought that the round would be called in the very first half.
Well, I thought that if we had a clear winner, or I was gonna throw So you know what I said? I was gonna throw my weight the way of the team that wins the first half. It does go the way of Botfrag friends. So yeah, 80-20. 80-20 is my Bambling split.
All right, I'll keep it 70-30 just so we're not a biased casting.
Yes, exactly. No favorites, but you know, call them the shots like we see them. That's for sure.
And the shot's not landing from Bruzy, as we're saying.
No.
They don't have any control. Sage is gonna wall one side of this entrance, but not able to watch the other as Viper's about to push into kitchen with them. Stone Wolf gets the timing.
Yeah, Clickhead I think was moving a little too fast right there. Maybe didn't realize just how close they were. Gave away their positioning, and now We're going to have a quick push through kitchen over towards B site.
30 seconds
Very
left.
interesting Viper. Well, I haven't seen this one, but I like it. It gives some nice cover for this plant in a little bit more of a unique way. It's going to be some of the members. Oh my gosh, Bruzy dropping in for a kill. Mithrander, though, going to be good for 2 as where somebody's behind him, but it's not going to be enough, and HNGI takes the round, starts to even things up.
Yeah, good efforts by Bruzy, and Bruzy time after time, I think we can relax a little bit. Bruzy's not a bad addition to their team. They're still positive on the KD. Even though they're losing, they're still positive on the KD. It's actually Burzy who's 2 and 12, really not showing up. And I'm not I don't want to say it, but I'm not super surprised. Burzy looks to me like the weak link on the side of HNGI, with being the only player, although slight, the only player that didn't have a positive KD to reflect their efforts.
Right. However, if you look at their headshot percentage, they were leading in that from last week at a 21.2%. So, you know, a very, very mechanically skilled player, it seems, but maybe just not quite making the plays they need to play. Daddy Longkev now getting an idea of who is where on site. ABC drops away at the last moment. Stonewall finds 2 as the push comes in, and Botfrag friends are looking real rough right now. Viper just going to be caught here completely unawares by Bruzy.
Yeah, and that round was super decisive. HNGI getting 1 on the board and tying up the game. That's 2 on the board, actually. Their bonus did end up going through. So definitely keeping my Bambling coin right where they are, because HNGI having that good attack makes you question, well, can Botfrag friends really work together in the way that you need to be a cohesive defense? Oftentimes, teams that are really good at offense aren't good at defense because they don't have the right communication to make it work. And I can't help but wonder if we're seeing that. But this being the first gun round, we'll have our answers, our questions answered, our answers going to give us more questions as the fight comes to fruition.
They certainly could. Most good answers bring more questions. Stone Wolf is good for the first pick though. HNGI on a tear right now. They're pushing very quickly onto site. Every time they do, we're gonna have the Viper's Pit thrown out as well to cover the plant, and just to make life so much more difficult for the Botfrag friends as they try to push into this. Burzy takes a little bit of damage as they start to peek around yellow. And to see if they can get any more information. Throws out a flashbang. Gain a little more map control. Captain gonna see if they can move in now from Snowman. It's good coverage from the top half as well by Viper. Flash goes in. Nice pick from Mithrander. Trade's gonna be there though, so still things looking good for HNGI. Just a sliver of health there for KO. Capkin able to get a kill as well. That's just 1 player left. Not for long. Bruzy gets the final pick.
Bruzy once again playing themselves to such advantageous positions. That was their 3rd round of the app, so they were really on like a bonus. They weren't buying into that round because they wanted to save their credits for next round. So what did they do? They pushed through mid, but they didn't take the gunfight mid. They put up their wall, they put up their orb, so they could just walk up through, and put themselves at weird off angles that they can use those worst guns. And what do? They pop the Viper's ult, so that it doesn't matter what gun you have in the ult, and it doesn't matter how much damage they took. Everyone's at 1 HP, and 1 bullet will kill anyone from any gun. So a perfect advantageous position, and a kind of a crazy read from Botfrag friends to put all 5 members on A. If they can catch the spike out here, that will be huge for the round.
Wow, yeah, it really will be. We've got a trade right off the bat. Slow orb coming out as well to try and make things difficult for this push. Capkin is right around this corner, and I don't think anybody realizes it. Burzy gonna peek around onto Clickhead, but in the meantime, Capkin finds them instead. That is gonna be the spike down and under BFF's control.
This round flipped on his head so quickly. I was like, interesting gamble. They're going the other way. Well, except for the spike, which they sent with just 1 other person to A. And Daddy Longcap brings it down to a 2v1. Oh, it's gonna be tough to hold on to, but they've had some good efforts to put them this far, given that they are on a weaker buy. And Daddy Longcap has been able to upgrade their weaponry with just a little bit of HP from everyone involved. Anyway.
Now they realize exactly where. A beautiful shot from Capkin in between the girders to find the kill as they were kneeling down. Now Capkin has the freedom to get the spike. Are they going to go for the plant? No, they're going to go for the kill. They're going to wait for Daddy Longkev to push in because Daddy Longkev probably thinks they're going for the spike, but they're the plant, but they're not. And Capkin gets the win to tie the game up.
Well, it's actually Hingy on attack. They couldn't get the spike because they were camping on it. Yeah, the round was so flipped on its head. It was hard to tell who was going where, who wanted to do what. And I'm surprised that final gunfight actually ends up coming through. That Capkin doesn't just fall back because it was just 20 seconds left on the clock. All he has to do is land one bullet on you, and then they win the round. Or you can just hide. And that probably started to cross his mind, and he started to go up the ramp to hide, but eventually ends up landing the shot anyway. So what does it matter? Capkin once again clutching out. I can see why they mentioned him as a player to watch, actually.
Yep.
They're doing, Hinky's doing a little bit of a slow default after the aggression they just found. Look at that. They were leaving the spike on the ground to start the round to make sure they don't drop it in a terrible location. But it does look like it's going to be leaning over towards that B side.
We do have KO, though, lurking on A. Push does come out on B, but Brucey's backing up pretty quickly. Thinks a little bit better of it and maintains their position on top of this shipping crate. Moves around towards yellow. We've now got the smokes committed by Brimstone, too, to make the plant a little bit harder if they decide to go heaven. Here comes a Hunter's Fury around yellow to see if they can pick some people out. Gets a hint of where everybody is. Trades come through again. 4v4. Stefan going for the plant. Those smokes were in a nice spot, but they didn't last long enough. Fortunately, Daddy Longkev is there to cover the plant. Now Hingy with a little bit of an advantage, and Mithrander down to about half health too. They're going to have to play pretty conservatively right here, which is not what you want of your initiator. Stonewolf has made it around towards the front here, but they've got Mithrander coming around behind them as well. We're going to see him in just a second. It's going to be Mithrander a little bit faster on the gun to even things up, but now it's just going to be Capkin left standing. The molly comes in. It's good. We've got the lineups in from Brimstone. Love to see it. Goes around yellow, tries to peek in for a kill, but because of that molly, they're not going to have enough time to defuse. They're going to go for it regardless, though. Not going to be enough time, and that will be a round for Hingy and the lead.
So much confidence on the side of Hingy. That defuse was kind of close. They were only on the spike just a second after the circle appeared, but they didn't even go back to check. They would rather keep their guns and keep their momentum going forward. You can see that round was already going to hurt them economically, so they're like, all right, we're probably not going to get back in time. So either we won this round or we lost this round. And I think a decent call at that point. They did end up winning the round and keeping the guns. And it's now Hingy on the advantage, going 4-1 on this attacking half, and on the gun advantage once again. Only Capkin with the hero rifle. They're not the top fragger, but they're right next to the top fragger because they've been putting in such good work on the side of bot frag friends, and they're gonna need another one of their miraculous plays to win another eco. And it doesn't look like it's shaping up so far with the opening pick going to Hingy's side, and so the map control.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them. As Tour de Force providing so much cover through mid, but it's, oh my gosh, gonna be a pistol that comes up on top instead. Stonewolf with the Phantom, Stefan as well. Hinky now with a very clear sight, a very easy plan coming in. Clickhead peeks for a moment to see if they can find someone, goes around the other way, does find Stonewolf, gets flash, but you know what? Bursey flashes themselves. At the meantime, now we've just got Daddy Longkev. They're not going to be there in time to cover the defuse. That is a feels bad. And the round goes the way of bot frag friends.
You can see his frustration. He ran as fast as he can, but because his team fell so far in sight, there was just no chance to get the diffuser, especially with where that spike ended up planting. I don't know if that's a little bit of a miscommunication, but it looked like it was going to go Hinky's way. But once again, that's the second eco win where I'm like, they're going to need miraculous play. And I thought for sure this time Hinky would have that round given their gun advantage. But they whiffed. That's all I can say. They whiffed. They flashed themselves. And that's how the round just ends up going bot frag friends way, and bringing this to a tie game and an equal by heavy pressure on B long. Chamber is posted for it, and every recon bolt gonna let them know that they're waiting for them.
Daddy Longkev sending out the Owl drone, finds a couple of players. Tarquin forced to drop back. Oh my gosh, it's gonna catch him, but only barely. They escape with 13 HP. Wow.
They are lucky that they have a Sage on their side, and they're running to say, Sage heal, Sage please. And they still have the numbers advantage though, so HNGI is going to have to reconsider whether they want to get this hit. It's going to depend on this mid battle, I'd say. And with Stonewolf catching that out, now they have opened up the right side of the map for that A hit to come through and that quick rotation. Daddy Longkev might get a pick here, but they're long gone, and it does come through. It does slow them down, and I'd wager that Spike's going down.
Yeah, I would put my Bambling coins on that, hands down. The question is, who's looking better in the post-plant situation? Nice pick from Capkingo to give BFF a little bit of an advantage. Now I've got Bruzy. Gonna be a peek in just a second from Capkin. They go down, but the trade is in from Tarquin. So it's gonna be one player now, just the Brimstone. Does Stefan have the... Stefan has the molly, so that's going to keep him at bay for a moment, but not for too terribly long. They're going to have to get the kills. They get one of them. Now it's just Chamber, and it's down to a 1v1 to give the lead, to give this one of these teams up to the 10th round. They're going for the defuse. You get a little bit of damage. I can't tell if it was halved or not. It was halved. They've got to be quick on this. It's going to be ABC with the defuse, though, giving the round to the bot frag friends.
Stefan, so good, but not quite good enough, and it doesn't end up working out. Whew, these rounds, they're so close. It's the fragging power of the bot frag frags, of the bot frag friends. Oh, bot frag frag.
It's hard to say. We should
it's of the BFFs. They're the BFFs.
Actually hard to say. Yeah,
they're just the BFFs. It's the fragging power of the BFFs that's pulling the forward. You look over at the scoreboard, and well, they don't have the top frag, but they all have some frags to count them for. They don't have that Burzy bottom frag. Burzy needs to show up and do something for their team before it's too late, before BFFs run away with this.
Yeah. Now Bruzy taking a peek around that Viper's pit. Still pushing in. We've got the sonar in to see if they can find anybody. Tarquin throws out a molly. See if he can stop anybody from moving in. They find Tarquin. Beautiful play there to open up the site now. Even though they go down, they have gotten so much value. Mithrander now in a duel in the back. Make that a 2v2. Both of them have reinforcements now, and I'm not sure either realizes it, but they do know now. Daddy Longkev taking a big peek, ends up paying for it. The res does come in, so now BFF's looking a little stronger. We're gonna have a rotation through mid, but the playing field has been even, and what a fast rotation coming out from BFF's as well. We're gonna see maybe some more gunfight mid. No, it's not gonna be the case. They do throw out a little util though, so they know they're close by, but only one player now on B site. They might get caught out here because this is a fast push. Oh, the tip of the rifle showed, but I don't think Burzy saw it. Yes, they did. They get the pick. The spike will go down. That's a beautiful Noel command as well, and they're backing off to a great post plant.
I thought that this round could go the way of BFFs for a second, but the gun barrel pointing out and the tap going through. Bruzy looking to close it up just like that. Oh my gosh, these are some crazy flick chamber shots. Not landing yet, but slowing them down for sure. And it all comes down to Tarquin. They do get one, and their other ones aren't at good HP, so this could very easily be a clutch in their favor.
What?
Nobody has any HP on the board.
No, they don't. Look at this. We're going to get the smoke in the way. They're going to go for the defuse. Can they get it? They're going to have to. No, I don't think they do. Bruzy clutches it out. HNGI ties it up. What a round.
We had so much doubt in Bruzy, but now at 18-11 for their KD. I think that we can. I was going on my whole spiel about Botfrag friends having the frags, if not anything else, and what I was trying to say is it's HNGI having the frags with the 20-12, with the 19-15, 18-11, 17-11.
That works.
They're all almost at a 2-1 KD except for Burzy. So if Burzy can pick up that little last bit of it, they'll be able to get into sight, but I wouldn't count on it. And there's a full stack from BFFs to stop this aggression. We're gonna have so much contact.
Oh, Clickhead with a nice shot with the Sheriff. That's going to give them a wall and a way to get out of Dodge safely. They barely make it out in time, but they're getting peppered down from Daddy Longkev from above. Beautiful positioning coming in from Hingy. That's going to open up this site beautifully for them. They've just got one player left to worry about, and that player's coming up from behind them. I don't think they realize that, but they do have somebody covering that angle. Daddy Longkev knows they're there. Now we're going to see... Ooh, shock dart come out, doesn't land. Mithrander gets a little bit of chip damage on Bursey once again. I've got the one-way as well from Brim. Flash comes out. That's going to keep Stefan from peeking. They take a little bit of damage. Mithrander finishes them off, but Daddy Longkev is in for the final blow. 11 rounds for Hingy. Are we headed to OT?
You know what? I'm gonna slide 20 more coins, 20 more Bambling coins over to the side of Hingy because these have been some good round wins. They're looking like they're all able to contribute, except for Bursey. But other than that, they're looking like they're all able to contribute. They have 3
Hey, but he's
ultimates
gotten
on the
4
board.
kills since the last time we talked about him.
That's true. That's true. And 10 assists. I mean, Stefan with 18 assists.
Yeah.
But regardless, Hingy are looking good on this side of the map, and well, the Daddy Longkev does have an 80% win rate on Icebox, and we're seeing the way that Daddy Longkev is able to manipulate the map to their advantage, especially on that Sova.
Woozy Woozy throwing in a lot of bullets to the smoke, doesn't find anything. One player down though already for Hingy. So the pendulum continues to swing violently back and forth between these two teams. Mithrander takes a shot. Doesn't find anybody at the moment, but Brucey Woozy is taking a little bit of chip damage. Holding down this mid angle right now, making sure they don't get surprised. As the spike is actually making its way up towards B.
It's a very slow push.
Yeah.
They've been waiting. After getting that first pick off, they're trying to find any advantage that they can, and they haven't found one yet, other than a little bit of space on D-Long. They forced them back just a little bit, but Viper's still waiting on this top part. And is that a lineup for the plant spot? Nope, not quite.
But it's a nice lineup.
Yeah, and now we're down to the 4v5. It's going to be a full retake. Nobody's had any contact ever since the opening duel. They're already going for the defuse, but Chamber's waiting on site.
Oh, wow. Brucey Woozy coming in with a couple of picks. Also got the molly on the spike as well. That's going to slow things down temporarily, giving an opportunity for them to control the space. It's going to be Stefan going down right after launching that orbital strike, slowing things down once again. Hasn't slowed them down enough. We're going to see Stonewolf now jumping in. They've got the lineup as well. Got the Hunter's Fury coming in to cover Spike. There's just no way to defuse. And Hingy is going to bring us to within 1.
I will say, I mentioned they had 3 ultimates on the board, and I think they might have used all 3, if not 2 of the 3. They were pulling out all the stops to get them to that final map point, because even though this map is still up in the air, your opponents being on map point is a huge mental. That's a huge part of the game, and when you see that, it's like, oh man. We cannot make a single mistake, because one person not holding one good spot can open up a whole side of the map. So, BFF friends are forced to stop, reconsider. Okay, 10-12. What's been working for us? Well, we've been working when we win the fights, but it has been Hingy winning the fight, so maybe not that one. Now, what else has been working for us? I'm not sure.
That's fair.
So I would expect to see something really weird from them, because when they pushed, like when they did that 5-man A push, that's when they won a round. And so I would expect to see something really weird come from them, because that's all I've seen that I can really worked for them, other than just happening to trade it out correctly.
I think you bring up some excellent points there. Botfrag friends, this is definitely a great opportunity. Like, if you need to do something weird, take a timeout, right? Talk about it, get it planned out, and then throw it at your opponent, see what you can do. I think the timeout heavily favors the Botfrag friends here as well, just in terms of the game flow. So we've got the spike over on B. Nobody's picked it up yet. We're just seeing a default from Hingy.
we are seeing something weird from BFF friends. It doesn't end up working out because Daddy Long Leg or Kev gets the first pick. But they were doing a 2-3 man push on A main and a 2-person push in middle. They were trying to get different map space, different aggression. It doesn't go their favor, but they've gotten a lot of information and they know where they are and where they aren't. And they haven't pushed anywhere yet, so they know that much.
Here's an interesting statistic that I'm not sure we brought up yet, and that's that Daddy Longkev had 12 first bloods last week. Led phenomenally, right? And we just saw them get another first blood. So if Daddy Longkev can give an advantage to HNGI early on in more rounds than not, that means that Botfrag Friends is having to fight from behind. And that's what they're having to do right now. This is potentially the final round in this game. So Botfrag Friends in an unenviable position, and they have to win this round. We're going to see Viper's Pit come out. We've got the Hunter's Fury to try and prevent the plant, but it doesn't work. Capkin lets it loose all for naught, and now there's just beautiful site control because of these smokes. Capkin, in fact, forced to send out the Owl drone, not finding anybody just yet. And what was that? What was that timing right there by Stonewolf to keep them out of sight? 4-4 is now peeking around the corner. IABC finds them. They get a second. Now it's HNGI just left with one. It's going to be the Viper in the pit. They come out for the shot, for the kill, for the win. And HNGI takes our first game.
And it's Stone Wolf to bring it through. I didn't have my eye on Stone Wolf as much that map, but they were still contributing in their own ways, still being a valuable asset. We knew that these teams are more comfortable on where they started. Like, that's our comfortable ground of like, okay, yeah. Botfrag Friends are attackers and HNGI are defense. But we saw HNGI are also good at attack. Maybe we are underestimating their attack simply because they don't plant a lot. Or they still plant a lot, but not as much. And that might just be thanks to Daddy Longkev getting those opening picks. And if their win condition is Daddy Longkev gets an opening pick, that means they're just always playing in a 5v4, which is, that's significantly easy. You ever had a DC in your game? It's almost impossible to keep getting the rounds. And getting them in that position so often, that's a W.
That is a W. Well, that is a W for a HNGI, but there's a lot to unpack there, right? I mean, I think, you know, we talked about the effectiveness of Daddy Longkev at the end there, right? But what about as well, I think the, you know, the overperformance that we have from Bruzy Woozy, right? We were not expecting him to show up in as big a way as he has. And I mean, my gosh, you know, maybe he heard what we said and that lit a fire underneath him. So Bruzy Woozy, if you're listening to this, if you heard that, our apologies. You have shown up in a huge way.
Well, the only reason there are question marks around Bruzy Woozy is because they didn't play last week. And so it's like, well, we just don't know how they're playing in the team scenario.
Yes, in the team environment.
But I did want to say we did know that they had a 1.16 KD on average. They averaged pretty positive. So we knew that they'd be contributing in some way, but we weren't sure how. And when they stole the chamber pick from Burzy, we're like, oh, well, are they going to be able to carry it? And, well, they do miles more than Burzy did. And so they just sweep, the second half of that map. Yeah. And they bring us right on to, what was it, Haven?
Yeah, Haven will be our next map, but before we get there, we're going to throw it to just a short break, so don't go anywhere. We're going to grab a little water, going to allow the players to take a short break, but we'll be back very soon. Welcome back, everybody. Don't worry, I solved the Rubik's Cube again. We just didn't do it on stream this time, so you'll just have to take my word for it. So, happy to be back. Happy to jump back into the action. We're headed to Haven. 3 plant sites, 3 spike sites, a map that both teams won convincingly last week. Who's coming out on top? Will it be HNGI a little more, or will we see things go the way they went last week for bot frag friends? Do they turn it around here, starting on Haven?
Yeah, if we want to talk about the narrative, bot frag friends had a pretty close map 1. Check. Just, yeah, it's that thing where it's like, they had a close map 1, you are here. They dominate map 2 and they dominate map 3. So it's like, if we're following the narrative checklist, bot frag friends could very easily run with it. But my own personal feelings, HNGI looked amazing in that map, and they didn't have a dominant win. It was 13-10, but they had dominant KDs. They were winning a lot of the gunfights and not dying nearly as much as they were on the other side. Daddy Longkev with that crazy KD, but everyone else, they have 3 players above 20 kills. Nobody was above 20 kills on the side of bot frag friends. So my coins, I would probably put it more at like a 60-40 Bambling coin split for HNGI's versus bot frag friends personally this time.
Yep. Well, I am a Bambling man, and I'm going to continue to do that as well. And I think I'm going to put my coins, we're going to shift them a little bit. We're going to bamble. We're going to bamble on over, actually, a little bit towards HNGI, I think. Not maybe as much. I'm going to say 70-30 right now. But, yeah, I still believe the bot frag friends, they're going to be able to pull it back here. They're going to, you know, it's the same story we saw from last week. They did a great job this first map, just wasn't quite enough to get it done. So, yeah, they're going to gear themselves up, come out swinging on Haven. They're attacking first again. So, if it ends up being close like it was last time, and also want to mention Haven attacker-sided map, right? So, if we see another close affair, like we saw on Icebox just now, if we see the bot frag friends take a 7-5 half on attack, I'm going to have to put this in favor of oh shit, why did I forget their names?
HNGI's?
HNGI's, yes, HNGI's. Yeah, just blanked on their name completely. So I'm gonna have to throw my hand in on HNGI's because again, attacker favored map, and HNGI did better on attack.
Yeah, but bot frag friends did say they do enjoy Haven because it's a heavy rotation map, so we'll see whether that ends up panning out as the agent specs are coming through once again. Tarquin on Omen, different from the Viper pick, going to provide different things to the thing. But the thing, this is the thing I wanted to talk about.
Yes,
Mythrander is on Yoru. Yeah. So fun fact, Mythrander is crazy good at Yoru. Like, their stats on Yoru are way better than on any other character at over like 180 damage per round, but they have a lower win rate on Yoru. So what that tells me is he's great at Yoru, but not great at supporting his team. So the fact that going for the Yoru pick, going for those frags, but might not get the objective wins. And so bot frag friends might just be fragging and not beating the objective friends on the other side, the HNGI's.
Now, let me provide a counterpoint to this, because what it also kind of says to me, right, is you've got somebody who's doing really, really well on Yoru, right? But they're not getting the wins. They don't have that same win percentage that maybe they do on other hero or agents. It could be because the teams that he's just finding in ranked just don't know how to play with the Yoru. So, if his team knows, if the bot frag friends know how to play with the Yoru, this could be a difference maker.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So it's like when you don't know that Yoru's doing some crazy play, it could be like, dude, you're throwing, you're feeding. But when you have set plays that involve the Yoru, and you can kind of play off of that, they can take more advantage of it than you would normally see in the ranks game, which is where we get those more miscellaneous stats because we have more data to look at for those kind of things. And
you're right.
And I am still interested in that Tarquin Omen pick that I originally pointed out, because Tarquin has 200 hours on Viper. That's like their main agent. They've played so many hours of Viper, and I had a note that they do sometimes play Omen, but I really didn't expect it to come through. And so maybe they're going to be putting themselves in crazy situations, and as the attack is coming in, we're going to see how this Omen works out offensively, as Omen is a really good offensive smoking agent, and they're going for that C hit. They're fully stacking it.
Yeah, they are. This is likely going to be pretty quick here. And Daddy Longcav, well, they're good with the gun. So if the shots ring true, they could get a bevy of kills right here. Daddy Longcav on the breach as well. That kind of terrifies me. Clickhead going to be stunned. It's going to make things difficult. Them pushing in. Daddy Longcav already with 1 kill, opening things up with that first blood. ABC takes them out, though, and now they've got control over site. Going to be able to get the plant off Capkin, though, with just 20 HP. Stonewolf now pushing in through garage, but gets stopped by Clickhead, who does just that. Stefan now coming in from CT. Gonna get a brief peek, I think, of... Nope, doesn't quite see them. Tarkin hanging out C long. But the push is gonna come in from garage. Stefan pushing in now with the raise as well. Darkman hasn't quite been identified. Nobody sees him lurking up there. Stefan gets the counter pick. They're going to go for the defuse. The wall now playing against them. Can they break it in time? They do. But can they get the kill now? There's not enough time to defuse. They go for the fake. They're going to see if they can do some damage. But Bot Frag Friends will take the first round.
Oh, such a good wall on pistol round because it takes so many bullets to break.
Yeah.
They spammed it just enough, just barely in time. And I love the way they were both hiding on either side of it, making it so that was like, they know, everyone knows where everyone else is, but you can't get the shots out without either giving them an easy, like, you're peeking into a choke point, but at the same side, they were funneled into a choke point. So I definitely could have seen that going either way, but Bot Frag Friends showing us their aggression going to pay off. And they're doing, it looks like they're doing the same strat again, but this time it's on A, and this time they have Spectres. So I'd expect
this time no one's there. There's no one there on A. They're just going to get a free sight. But this, what that means, though, is that this retake is going to be crazy. Coming in from Hinky, we're going to see a full 5v5 retake, I think, here.
Watch your eyes.
I think we're going to see a full retake coming from the side of the offensive side. So
you're right,
we are. Completely flipped. Now Hinky are trying to attack with pistols, but their first 2 shots don't end up coming through, except for Stefan. But Stefan does get cleaned up as well, so it's all left to Sage to get onto site. I mean, to retake site.
It is Stefan,
and they have a Spectre. Yeah, it is Stefan, and Stefan has gone crazy on Sage. And in fact, I can talk about that specifically in a second, but they're gonna need to get the timing on this one. Not able to quite do it. Captain with 4 on the round. So I just want to mention with the Sage pick from Stefan, when they went 13-4 on Bind, their top frag was Stefan as Sage with a 24/7 KD. So that Sage is not just your healer, that is a battle Sage, both sword and shield. And so they're not able to clutch that round, but they do have the rifles coming into this round. And Daddy Longleg is the fragger, but I'm keeping an eye on that Sage pick as someone who's been grinding Sage in rank myself.
Yeah. That's nice. We're gonna have like the insider's perspective on it. I want to see more from Mythrander. I'm glad we're watching him right now because I want to see just how this Yori's playing, because they've taken the first 2 rounds so far. They are going to get stunned as they try to push in onto B site. On comes out, identifies Stonewolf. That's going to give them an easy shot onto them. Capkin takes it. The spike will be picked back up. Are they going to go for the plant, or are they going to go for a rotate? Looks like the rotate is the answer here, but Hinky just down 1 player and just 1 remaining for Bot Frag Friends. They take a couple shots with the Headhunter, doesn't find anything, and Bruzy satchels in to a kill.
ABC kind of looked like they just didn't have anything left in the tank on that one. They saw the race satcheling out and they just accepted their fate.
Well, there's that.
GG, go to the next round. Now they'll finally have some rifles on the board. Capkin, top fragging, they've been doing really good on the Sova, and now on the Fade, rather than the Sova going to provide a different kind of sort of utility to their team. They do have a better KD on average when they're playing that Fade pick as opposed to that Sova. So I do think this is a good pick. It looks like, to me, their team composition this time says we did not get enough kills last game, and that's why we lost, because that is half of the that's half of the story of Icebox.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, you know what I just noticed that I don't think I've talked about yet? There's a Phoenix on the board. Like, we've just been so focused in on the Yoru and everything else that I've just completely missed that fact. Like, that's also pretty wild. But you know what? Bot Frag Friends are making it work right now. Hingy is on their back foot. Ready to get the spike coming in onto B, but Daddy Longkev's gonna meet them. Too many people swing though, and he is mowed down in a hurry. Spike will be planted. ABCB takes up a nice defensive position.
So I just wanted to point out, Yoru's just sitting in their spawn. He just had that TP that went all the way back there. Such a good lineup. And they didn't even know he was there. Just got a free kill for it. Now it's left to Burzy on their own. Burzy hasn't been showing up. But look, Burzy is on chamber this round, as opposed to the chamber that got stolen last game by their team captain. And yeah, the Phoenix pick, it is something that's new. I thought I had a note about it. I didn't. They have played Phoenix in the past, but it's not like a lot of hours. It's more of like a recent thing that they've been picking up, I think, probably just with the buffs. They didn't really play Phoenix last act, and now it's something that they're introducing now that Phoenix is kind of viable. And Haven is Phoenix's classic map where, well, we've all seen it before. The flash is out of Grods, and with the buffs and with the only 6 ult orbs to get an ult in, we're going to be seeing that be popped quite a bit if Clickhead is able to play this correctly.
Well, we've got a 3-1 lead now for BotFrag Friends on attack, and if they're bringing it back, this is how it needs to start. So they're doing what they need to do right now, but we're going to see a full buy coming out from both sides.
I want to know, we just saw a couple gun rounds. Has this swayed your opinion of how you think this map is going to go at all?
No, I think this is playing perfectly into the narrative because right now BotFrag Friends is off to a screaming start, and that's kind of what we needed to see for them to keep up the narrative from last week as well. So I think we're seeing just why they were so strong on Haven. We're gonna have
joke's over. You're dead.
You two set out onto site. We've got the ult now coming in from Yoru. The flash is successful. Burzy not quite realizing that with the ult they wouldn't be able to see him. And Tarquin throws out the paranoia. That's going to let Capkin get a plant off a little bit more safely, especially with that smoke coming in now as well. BotFrag Friends at a 1-player disadvantage, but not looking too bad either. They've got great control over the site. Mythrander throws out a teleport as well into spawn. Stefan aware of it, but not able to get the shots off. And with the ult coming out as well from Fade, things are looking grim now at the moment for HNGI. BotFrag Friends though at a slight disadvantage now player-wise. Tarquin holding down C long. Oh, but the smoke comes out. That's gonna allow them to get in the plant effectively, but Clickhead surprises them. Coming in from Garage, gets the kill, gets the molly off, dies, but it doesn't matter. That's another round for BotFrag Friends.
Oh, they got the frag in for a second. I was like, wait, did HNGI get that? Because he's just running away now. There's just no time to defuse. BotFrag Friends with a lot of interesting things happening. They have a lot of different types of map control coming around, and Yoru is not feeding as much as I expected. Twice now we've seen that TP into their spawn have good impact, not just look, this agent's gimmick. They've done good things with it and had a couple good flashes to work off of, and to supplement that Phoenix, because if you talked to me like maybe a month ago and you said that Phoenix and Yoru were going to be the ones playing in this competitive match, I would be very surprised. But with Phoenix being buffed and, well, Yoru's situational, they're making it work so far. And they needed to win that round in order to have their narrative be possible. Because they're able to do that, they're able to cripple the economy of HNGI. And now they have a great buy, and HNGI's, even if it's good this round, well, it's not good this round, so they're going to have to rely on their next one after that, and that's when it can really go to, like there was last week, a 13-4 or a 13-2.
Yeah. Oh, wow. The patience there from ABC pays off. Eddie Longkev is down. That is a big obstacle out of the way now, and B is open, and a lot of people from the defense pushing over there. ABC takes out another player, but Burzy comes in the end, trades them out. The plant will come in on C-side as well, and this seems to really be the favored one for BotFrag Friends. They're staying over here primarily. Mythrander gets Omen out of the way. Burzy starting to push in through Garage, making a lot of noise coming in. So we do see the smoke come out in response. We've got the Showstopper out as well. They take a chance on a shot, doesn't find anyone. We've got the Prowler coming in. It will find one player. Bruzy Woozy goes down while trying to defuse. BotFrag Friends are in potentially for another one, but the defuse might come in time. It does. HNGI has the lead to 2.
Mithrander had such a slow flank. I had doubts whether it would get there in time, and they got there in time. But then they weren't able to shoot the shots at the right time. If they'd maybe spammed the wall at that one moment, it was possible. The dream was there, but the Yoru flank finally doesn't pay off. And so HNGI have an inch to stop this from spiraling. Their economy's still pretty crippled, so they're gonna need to win this round to keep themselves in the map and from drowning in the flashes coming out from the other side. There's a triple flash attack coming at them,
right.
and they've been doing a pretty decent job at least reacting to it, and now they need to start getting proactive about it.
Oh, beautiful shot comes out from Mithrander, catches Burzy on top of that box. Daddy Longkev now trying to slow everybody down. Nice smoke is able to allow Kapkan to get away. Not sure if that was an offense or defense smoke. Actually, probably a defensive one. Mithrander throws out their clone to see if they can get somebody off guard. In the meantime, ABC finds somebody in garage. The res does come in, so that helps out HNGI quite a bit. ABC forced to TP away as well. And now we're having the rotation out towards A, but Raze is over there, but they're not going to be able to do a whole lot. Maybe delay things for a moment, but Clickhead gets the spike down very quickly, even despite the ult coming out. But can they survive from here, though? Brucey Woozy able to find Clickhead down below. They've got great control over this side. I'm not sure if anybody can get over in time to prevent the defuse from coming in. We do have Tarkin, who finds a shot onto Brucey. Now there's nobody over there to try and defuse it, but these shots have to be good because there's not a whole lot left that has to be defused. The slow comes out. They know they're down C. They're trying to protect them. They don't do quite enough. Can they get it? There's plenty of time. Daddy Long Kev in with the defuse, and ooh, things aren't playing by the script anymore so much, are they, Easel?
No, the script, it gets put a little bit halt in this track. The momentum looked like it was going so heavily towards the BFFs, but the BFFs unable to get onto A site. Well, they got on the A site, but a beautiful breach ult coming through that really shut down their site hold, and they were forced to scramble to try and stop the spike from being diffused. Tarquin not able to do quite enough. What's interesting is they have 3 agents that can teleport. So they're on one side of the map, and then they're on the other. Yoru and Chamber especially, but it's also Omen to some extent, being at weird places at weird times. They have such good spread, and Kapkan just gets a better spray through the smoke, a free pick, and now making it look like it's a hit to draw the attention of HNGI.
Bomb gets destroyed, so they get the pick. They opt to rotate away because they expect the rotation to be coming in from the defense, which it is. Now we're getting this A site hit once again, but we saw how that went last time for them.
But there's no
and this time the defense is a little more aware of it. Yeah, that's true. There is no breach ult to shut it down, and that was a huge part of why that was successful. Yeah, it's going to be the defense now well aware that it's an A site hit. They're going to try and prevent the plant, but it's going to go in once again. Tarquin and Mithrander do a great job covering things for their team. Prowler comes out again to prevent anybody from pushing on the site while they get the plant off. And the bot frack friends say, no. We're just making you worry a little bit.
How many times is Mithrander going to TP into their spawn? I can't. That's the 4th time already this half, and we've only seen 8 rounds.
Yeah, you're right.
And it gets value again. Yep. Even if you know it's happening, you still need to do a 180 and go deal with it. It's like a flank, except it happens immediately. And it works. Mithrander's good on the Yoru and is contributing well to their team. I just hope, this is the question, is the Yoru going to be able to do the same thing on the defense? It's going to help to get to the right side at the right time, but yeah, maybe the flanks will be good from it there too.
I got a flash initially down C long. It's going to push Burzy away momentarily, but he's got a shot with the headhunter, and that's exactly what he finds. Trade comes in, though, on the other side of the map, though. So we do have a 4v4. There's a duel going on down A long, actually a 2v1. Clickhead able to win it out, and now there's going to be a quick push onto A site. Stonewolf TPing in with a shorty. Now starting to cover sewers. They take. I'm surprised Tarquin didn't hear them. They were stomping like an elephant, but they get sight. Gonna get the plant off as well, and they don't even need it as ABC takes out Burzy.
Don't worry, Tarquin, their little brother was just, they were playing and they were using a controller, and their audio disconnected. I'm going to give them every benefit of the doubt as to why they didn't turn around at that moment. I think mostly just because even if they had turned around, they had a shorty. So they were just hoping there'd be some peek from the other side, because that's their only chance of getting a pick at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
The timeout is going to come through on the side of HNGI, maybe realizing, wait, bot frag friends are finally having the kind of attack that we were looking out for and to worry about. And if bot frag friends get 2 more on the board, then they had a stronger attack than they had on Icebox. And then they're setting themselves up really good for defense. So regardless of how good their defensive is, they'll have a good enough lead that it'll be a good buffer.
Already, though, if this ends up going a 1-to-1 and we end up going to Fracture, I think we've got to give the advantage to HNGI at that point. We talked about it at the top of the show as well. You know, because this would be HNGI putting bot frag friends in a tough spot. Bot frag friends will still be on attack first, so they do have that going for them. But this is interesting now. You know what?
Yeah.
Bambling. We're gonna babble a little bit. It's gonna be 65-35 now.
More towards HNGI?
No. Never mind. No, it's gonna be 75-25. I'm going 75
friends.
Bot frag friends, yeah, because they're leading here. We'll see. I'm saying things, but I'm not voting with my bambling chips the way I'm thinking.
All right, I'm still gonna keep my HNGI coins in my pocket. They actually see the Yoru ult or TP coming through. You can see Chamber following it like a cat with a toy. Really hyper aware that it's back there, and not sure how much they want to commit to it. Because the funny thing about that Yoru ult is, 1, they shoot it and you know where they are. 2, they ignore it and they have to let you TP. Or 3, they follow it and they just they waste time just following it. Or, you know, 4th, you actually TP behind them and you take the most advantage of it as you can.
Oh wow, Bruzy able to get a pick with the shorty as Clickhead pushes in. They go for the ult, aren't able to get it, and wow, Tarquin with a very aggro TP gets the kill but is traded out. Meanwhile, though, Mithrander is up in heaven after having ulted, and it looks as though people are aware of it. It's going to be a 2v1 here in a second, but he peeks at a perfect time, gets the shot despite the flash. Now Stefan tries to peek again, but Mithrander does what Mithrander does, and that is click heads at the moment. Stone Wolf now coming in from HNGI, seeing if they can get something done here, but bot frag friends look like they're cruising to a 7th round win. Stone Wolf takes a nice shot. Look at this, the plant, the spike, it's on C.
Yeah, Stone Wolf's like, wait a minute, I've been tricked, I've been duped. He was pushing in so diligently, just waiting for the spike to come down, like, all right, I'm gonna get the timing, I'm pushed out. Wait a second. No, oh man. They gotta run all the way around, and now pushing up long. They're aware of this, they've planted it for that, and they're playing on the correct side of the site. They're reading that it's gonna be a long rotate, even before getting any contact.
Yeah, we see a jump peak come in. That's going to be one of the TPs destroyed by Stone Wolf. They're going to throw out some smokes to make sure nobody's coming in from garage, but nobody's there anyway. There's very little time left. Oh, the snare comes in, but they TP out of it to the spike right where ABCB has a beautiful shot on them. That was a fantastic setup from the bot frag friends.
And I like that the bot frag friends go for that rotate there, even though they knew that they'd have man advantage, just continuing to put themselves in an advantageous position. And now they're finally leading on the scoreboard. The Yoru pick paying off. Capkin doing what they do on Fade, getting that better KD, more contributions more often. And they've set themselves up good. Just one more round and the narrative is possible they could run away with this map.
Now I wonder, do you feel like this is you know, the question to me is this a difference in how they're playing, or is this just simply a map comfort difference? Nice shots coming in. Stefan able to finally take Tarquin out, gets another one to even up the kill feed. 3v3 as a lot of action is just happening over on mid. The res comes in, ABC misses the shots, and Stefan does not. And gets the res. Beautiful play coming in. Nice flash. Mithrander finds one. Oh, we're going to hear the Rolling Thunder come out. Mithrander barely escapes it. Now Daddy Longkev is pushing out because he thinks he's got somebody on the ropes, but doesn't. Plants coming in on A site though once again, but Stefan is there to kill them before they get it down. Rander's gonna have to come up huge here in this round. 45 seconds left to go though, so he's got some time to make something happen.
The spike is so far away though, and they know exactly where the spike is. Stefan has come up huge. If Stefan can just get this final pick, they'll have an ace, but it looks like Daddy Longkev is already lined up for it. They're playing smart, they're not playing for the cliff. Daddy Longleg does, Kev, Daddy Longkev does end up playing it out. My muscle memory is trained to say leg.
I know, right?
Does end up trading that out and closing it up. A good res from Stefan, and great on them to get that pick while the res was happening. That was a pivotal moment to put them in a mana advantage rather than disadvantage, because it was pretty even up until that point. Now we have a full buy coming out on the board and the op in the hand of Bruzy Woozy. They're not playing Chamber, but they're ready to be the opper and to take that control with it.
Teleport's ready.
You're gonna be set up on B side, so waiting to see if somebody peeks that window, but it's not gonna be there this time around. Clickhead gets the ult. That's gonna allow them to run it back wherever they please. They're gonna drop back for the spike as well. Bot gets destroyed on C long. Bot Frag Prince have been pushing C pretty hard, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them start to move away from it this time. There are a couple defenders down C long. Bruzy holding down mid still. And Sage over on A, where the spike has started to migrate to. Yoru coming in with the ult.
The ult does come through, but it doesn't have a TP. This is a very passive TP, looking to get info off the ult rather than the typical like cheese play. And so they get good info, but not good space off of that.
Yeah, they're forced to TP back to their own spawn, but it's going to allow a nice fade ult to come in. The Prowlers are going to look for their mark. ABC, though, good for a pick onto Stefan. 4v4 as the spike is planted. Smoke comes out, but it actually doesn't perfectly cover that entrance. We're going to see the run it back coming in from Clickhead. They're taken out, but they've got a second shot at it now. They're going to throw the flash through. Not going to push through, though, so they don't get to take advantage of it. Bursey goes for the defuse. Looks like he might just stick it, but the pick comes in before he's able to get it down halfway. And the attackers, this is an 8-4 half. They did one better.
They did one better. That was exactly what I was looking for. And I want to actually go back on my word. I said, you're not going to get the aggressive space. Well, he did end up opening up B site, but in addition to that, they have been conditioned. HNGI's raise, Bruzy Woozy, was just staring at spawn for the next 30 seconds in case Yoru went back there. And so it's the Yoru mind games more than anything else that really stalled them out, and just that constant pressure of the flank. It ended up coming through from Tarquin, but they were still worried about it that whole time, which was not helping on the retake system. Coming into this pistol, it's a classic buy, which is kind of weird. I feel like people don't normally like that gun. Instead, they're opting for the shields, looking to play off of chip damage and hopefully not die in one shot. But EVC still lands the headshot on Bruzy Woozy. Oh, that's painful.
That certainly is. Swing comes in. Mythrander's good for one on Daddy Longkev. The top frag. HNGI now. It's going to be tough. So they've seen what's in store for them on A, and they don't want anything of it. So it's going to be a slow rotation out, but there's just so much map control here by the bot frag friends. It's going to be very tough for HNGI.
HNGI are really forced to slow it down, and they just have nothing. So you're just poking and prodding garage, but Phoenix's home ground is in garage, a single flash, and you have nowhere to go. Thankfully, they have not given an audio cue and actually catch the timing for it.
Yeah, they do. Look at this. They're going to push through on B. Stefan's able to get one. Now they realize they have been played, that this was all a ruse. Stonewolf goes for the plant as well. That seems pretty aggro, but Bursey coming up huge. It's been rough for them in the past, but right now they are showing up in a huge way. Mythrander, they're going to even things up now. Paranoia thrown out, doesn't catch anybody. Capkin gonna be able to find Stone Wolf looking the other way. Haunt goes out, reveals a couple players. They know there's somebody down there, but they don't realize there's someone to their left. They're going for the defuse, and they've got it. Nobody left standing. Botfrack friends, this is likely gonna go to 10-4.
And exactly what was working for Hingy, Botfrack friends did there. They got the opening pick, which was pretty much Hingy's, what was making them win on Icebox. Just Daddy Long Kev having so many of those. I really haven't seen Daddy Long Kev as much this map, at only 8-10 negative on the scoreboard, not providing for his team, not putting them as those same advantages versus BFFs.
Yeah.
They were in that advantage and they just played off of it. They just slowly peaked one. Even if they peak one at a time and it's a 1-for-1, they now can afford to do that because they have the man advantage. And so now they have the gun advantage as well. So this round very much so could play out similarly.
It really could. We're seeing a pretty aggressive play coming out from Botfrack friends on the defense, which is to be expected if you lose that pistol round. Daddy Long Kev gains a little bit of space now. Long. Look at this. The defense now pushing out through sewers more so than main. They drop back, though. They're not going to push too aggressively. Ooh, Daddy Long Kev traded out. Tarquin good for 2. Now, Botfrack friends have evened things up, or rather, Hingy has evened things up in a pretty big way, despite being at a gun disadvantage. Stone Wolf going to push out onto site, is able to catch Tarquin as well. Hingy now with an advantage, but this molly could be big right here. I can't believe that they were able to not take damage there.
Yeah, and they're making this eco really start to come through. No weapons bought. Stone Wolf with a bad TP, but not punished for it. Capkin unable to make the bullets connect. And now in a 1v2 has to watch both angles at once. Never mind, just has to watch one. But it is a Marshall holding that.
Oh.
And a very good utility. Wow, Bruzy unable to connect the final shot. So Capkin with just 49 HP gets the defuse and brings them, like you said, to 10-4. By all means, that should have gone Hingy's way, but
yeah,
Jungle God, I guess they're slipping.
Yeah, I think they are, and then the Botfrack friends are finding their groove now, right? They found the momentum, they found what they needed, and maybe the answer was this Yoru Phoenix, right? This has been tremendously difficult to go up against, right? You talked about like the TPs, the flashes. Like where is this team and what are they doing at any given time? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, triple flash, triple TP. You got Phoenix ult
Triple
coming
initiator.
out regularly. Yeah, it's a very offensive team. So even on defense, they're still able to throw so much utility at their opponents. And it's not like the kind of anchoring kind of utility. It's the walking out. You can see Yoru was walking out with his clone, pretending like he was also the clone. They were walking in tandem up A. There's just constant aggression being fed to them on all sides of the map at all points. And Hingy are totally pinched in the screw-outs position.
Yeah, they really are. There's such incredible map control coming out from Botfrack friends right now. Ult comes through as well. Bruzy able to get one onto Mythrander, but they're down to just 1 HP. Not long for this world, and Botfrack friends are cruising. They're on cruise control now, Easel.
It's the narrative, Jungle God. They had to. They had the
Right?
close loss, and now they have to have the dominant Haven. Yeah, we gotta stick to the script, guys. What, you wanted new content? No. We're just feeding you a live feed of what happened last week.
Yeah, it's like what Star Wars did. They just repeated the same story 3 times.
Yeah, and we're just doing slight tweaks so that way the viewers don't notice, as long as we don't point it out to them. Because the difference here is that Hingy have actually gotten 4 rounds on the board, and Buffer Prince have misread where they were going to push off of that. So there's a chance that Hingy could get another one on the board, but if not, oh boy, are they at map point.
Yeah, they will be. Another difference I would like to add is that Han Solo shot first over here in our production. So
Sure.
But already, yeah, our producer even questioning what I said. That reference didn't work. Anyway, Daddy Longcap throwing out a little bit of util towards mid. They realize somebody is caught up there, but they don't quite know who. Clickhead does find Bruzy, so we've got a 4v4 situation. But not a whole lot of progress has been made on the attacking side. They look pretty stalled, and in fact now the spike is down 3v3, but the advantage, you gotta give it to Botfrag Friends, given how much map control they have, and now the player advantage too.
They have them really disgruntled in the middle of mid, but I think this might be a little bit more of an overheat. The fact that it's gone down to 2v2, and now the spike's running A, and they don't have anyone there except for Yoru, which just might be able to get on the flank, or maybe not. The spike is going to end up going down. It doesn't matter who shot first, because HNGI end up coming up in the end at 2-2, putting themselves in a pretty good position for how heavy of a flank they were dealing with before.
You're absolutely right. This has been a great rotation from them to give them an opportunity to maybe come back in this. Stefan with a nice lurk here behind this wall. Ooh, both players coming in from
stage walls.
Oh, they know though! Clickhead knew, they find him! That's gonna be now the player advantage for Botfrag Friends. They're gonna have to push through at some point. Clickhead finds Bursey, and with that, the defuse will come in. This is looking rough for HNGI.
Yeah, with just a couple seconds to spare, you would hope that maybe one of them had played a little bit farther off from the spike to be able to stall it out. But the cheese spot doesn't end up working. I love going for those, but it truly and totally is a gamble no matter how you look at it every time you go for it. And with how dominant it is, look at the scoreboard. Not a single person from HNGI is positive this half. Stefan's doing all they can. Like we were thinking, I was planning on keeping an eye on Stefan because of how we've seen them perform on this map in the past, but it's not enough. It's simply not enough. Not when Botfrag Friends is throwing so many different looks. We've seen almost a different look, a different hold, aggression every time. So although there's HNGI's doing good, there's a lot to deal with, and they're gonna need to do a lot better to stay in this map.
That they are, but already they're starting off better. They've got the res, they've got 2 picks. Things are looking up for them here. But it's a must-win situation from here on out, right? They can't make a mistake. For 9 rounds? 9 rounds, they've got to be perfect. 9 in a row is what they are looking down the barrel of. They got to go for it, though. They've got a good start on it here. Step 1 is out of the way, maybe just step half. We'll see. It's going to be a pair of them from Stonewolf. Just 1 player remaining for BFFs. BFF's just about out of luck for this one. They're slowly going to be narrowing in on where exactly he is. We can see Brim's swinging around through spawn as well, but Bruzy going to come into contact first, right around this corner, but has no idea that his sights are aimed right on him. Gets the pick, swings around, finds Daddy Longcap at the last moment, takes him down to 5 HP. Daddy Longcap goes for a quick shot, doesn't find it, but what a flick! What a flick!
ABC saying, I'm keeping this up. No, you can't do anything about it. Yes, I am keeping it. They lost the round, but they keep the ops, so their economy is going to stay strong. They've won a ton of rounds, so it's really not the end of the world. They don't have as impressive of a scoreline as the last time they played on Haven, now that it's 5-12, but they do have the economy to stay in this at least for another round to prevent HNGI from getting too much momentum, because look, HNGI can just barely buy even after finally getting around because they've lost so many before this.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to move my my Bambling coins over to the side of Botfrag Friends, but I'll go ahead and stick with it. Go HNGI. Just oh, how many is that? 7, 8 more rounds. You can
8 more rounds to go.
Yeah.
Stay more times. You've done it once, you can do it again. And this time they've got a few more ults on their side as well. More than the Botfrag Friends have. For sure. Stonewolf gets a pick to start things out, though, so Clickhead out of the equation. Bot gonna be finding Captain in just a moment, alerting them to their presence. They spray through the wall, doesn't find the kill. HNGI still taking this slow and methodical, though. They know that everything is on the line, and they're not going to make any kind of risky, any kind of half-assed plays. They're gonna push this intelligently. They're gonna take their time. They're gonna make sure that they play to the advantage that they have, which is players right now. So if they can get another pick, they can almost assure themselves this round.
All that's left is Yoru on site, so we're really going to see how Yoru defense pans out. And maybe just seeing Yoru is enough to make them go the other way because how much Mythrander has done this map. Or maybe not, as they actually end up pushing up on the smoke. And the nades and shocks are coming through. They still need to clear him out, though.
Yeah, they do, and there's only 20 seconds left on the clock, and they, never mind, don't have an advantage anymore. It's gonna be Capkin spraying through the smoke, finds another 3v3 on site. 15 seconds left to go. Capkin pushing out again. The spike is down. HNGI has to push in right now. We're gonna see the Rolling Thunder come in. They're gonna try and push this side as quick as they can and get the plant down, but there's no time. They just have to go for the kills, and with that, BotFrag Friends will take the win and even the series at 1.
I had so many doubts in my mind, but BotFrag Friends are able to make it work, and the Yoru did end up working. I didn't want it to. I didn't expect it to. I expected nothing, and they showed that in a team situation, like you said, Yoru's not a bad pick. Combine that with the aggression from Phoenix and the flashes from all 3 of their initiators and duelists. There was just a lot that they could play with in that map, and they did play with it. They had so many different looks, and they looked like they were well trained on that map. So if that's anything to say, if we're going off of their performance last week, well, here's the thing. They're going to need a redemption match on Fracture. It's not like we're going to bind next. If we were going to bind next, I would say GG's. But because it's a redemption match, we'll see if they're able to actually convert this foothold back into the matchup.
That's such a good point. Yeah, it's a beautiful. It's coming full circle. It's coming full circle, right? For BotFrag Friends. But now the other side of the story is can HNGI break the cycle? That's their hero story here, right? Is can they prevent this potential onslaught from coming in? Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this last match.
This is the first map that they have lost this tournament in this group stage.
Right.
And it just could very well convert to be the first series loss, or maybe not. We'll just have that's the excitement that we're going to see, because there was so much action on this map. It was pretty one-sided towards BFFs, but both teams had things to show. I wouldn't count HNGI out in any sense of the word.
No, neither would I. That could just be a slight misstep. It could just be the dominance that BFFs has on this map. So, I think we'll learn a lot, right? We're going to learn a lot about specifically BotFrag Friends on this next map, because it's going to tell us either this is a team that just plays maps they know really, really well and is vulnerable otherwise, or that, potentially they're a team that takes a while to get warmed up, right? They play better in the second half. They figure out, their opponents as they play them. So we're really starting to, get a pulse on the personality of a lot of these teams.
Absolutely. And as the weeks of this group stage goes on, we're going to learn so much, and there's still so much more to see. So even if this next map ends up being a roll for BotFrag Friends, which it could, or even if it ends up going the other way, there's so much more that they can show us. But like we said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I kind of want to see more Yoru. Last time they didn't play Yoru on Fracture, but I want to see it actually come out again. Mythrander played KO. So just food for thought as we head into a quick break. Real quick, we'll be right back. I hope we get to see a little bit more cheese on the screen.
I feel bad because last time we came back from a break, I didn't solve the Rubik's Cube for you on camera. So this time, we're going to do it. Done.
Wow. Then now that's impressive. That's the fastest Rubik's Cube solve.
One-handed solve, too. One-handed.
That's the fastest solve I've ever seen. I was gonna hand you this little 2x2 actually, but that's got me a little bit beat out. So I guess. Oh, it's pretty
such
cool.
Nerds. Look at us.
We can just go ahead and hop into the next map and really get into the thick of enough of this nerdy Rubik's Cube talk. Let's talk about a video game instead.
Like the cool kids do. Right.
Yeah. Like we were saying, Fracture is going to be Botfrag Friends' proving ground to see, because that's where they lost last week. So is it that they had a weak Fracture or a slow start? Maybe a bit of both. So there's a chance that HNGI are able to bring it back, even though they just got stomped on Haven. Ouch. That might be too much for them to bring it back just after that.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, is this just Botfrag Friends at full power, right? Because if that's the case.
What if this is still 20% of the power? You know, there's a lot more playoff games to come. They're only doing bare minimum to get into the next section.
This isn't even their final form, right? Yeah. Well, let's go. We're going to go ahead and load into things here pretty quick to get things going here. Let's take a look at what these teams are thinking. Wow. Botfrag Friends are they're just all over the place. Ethel, they're just all over the place. Look at this. This
is a very typical, at least meta Fracture competition. Everyone loves using the Neon to run all the way around the map. The Breach counters any KJ pick in case it's there, but also it has great control over these sites. And well, Chamber is still in the meta even with the nerfs. So I'm not surprised at all. In fact, this is just textbook. It's almost the mirror composition coming from both sides, except we do see HNGI is going to be playing more of that Sage again. Stefan's more comfortable on the Sage, so it makes sense, but they don't have the Duelist because of that. So will the Neon or the Sage contribute more? It's just going to depend on whether Clickhead can click heads or if Stefan will continue to be Stefan and have outrageous performances even on Sentinels.
Yeah, you know, I think this plays into the identity of both teams so well too.
Absolutely.
Right, we've got Botfrag Friends, more aggressive playstyle. HNGI is going more defensive. Both of these teams are really playing to their strengths here, right, for this final map. So I'm excited to see how that goes, but I am sad that we're not seeing another Yoru. I have to admit, I don't really know much about Yoru, like in terms of like what maps he's good on. So I don't know if Fracture's a good Yoru map or not, but I'm just sad to not see him. It's not a good Yoru map.
No, not at all. No one, literally nobody plays Yoru on Fracture, but I wanted it.
I should have expected it.
I was being selfish in that way.
Yeah.
Yoru's really only a Haven, a Bind, maybe an Icebox. Those are really the typical places. I have seen him a couple times on Breeze just because those larger maps, but because Fracture, you can rotate through spawn when you're doing defense so quickly. And people would prefer to use the Neon for the quick rotations just because he has a lot of versatility for getting on the site, and that wall is very good for team play, dividing up the site, running out. It can do a lot more than a Yoru flash can, and so I think that's going to be more typically beneficial than a Yoru will, and we'll see how that Neon's going to help here as they're pushing out into B main right off the bat, going to be met with triple aggression in return.
Yeah, that they are. Shots fired immediately. Bursey taking down one, but gets traded out as well. Now, we've got a lurk right around the corner here from Brimstone. He's going to push through that wall and find a kill on to Mythrander, but Clickhead is there to take them out as well. So the trade comes in once again, but this time Spike Planter goes down from a beautiful shot. They switch positions for the plant, but they're at a player disadvantage now. Brucey peeks out, Clickhead finds them, goes for another one, has to dodge out of the way, down to just 20 HP, but they do have pretty good sight control. Good to see a duel going on. Stefan now trying to take an angle on Clickhead, gets it, and that's gonna be HNGI coming in for the defuse.
It may have just been a pistol round, but that was a really good pistol round from the side of Hingy. The early aggression maybe was a little bit too long, staying there for the extra frag, but they still had good control the way that they wrapped around site, and they were just coming at site from all angles, even if they let them get out. And I liked it. They were taking duels and they were still playing intelligently. And now that they have a little bit of Spectres, they can give themselves a little bit more advantage to start to get bot frags to get into their own head on whether they even know that this is going to be a repeat of last week, or that they'll show us something new, that they won't be an 11-13 loss.
Oh, look at this lineup coming in from Mithrander.
Knife deployed.
Oh, let's see this hit. This is beautiful. Oh my gosh,
right on the
on the
rafter.
pillar. Yeah. That's
It
gonna
does
take
detect out
Stone
Stone
Wolf.
Wolf. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say it takes Stone Wolf out, but look, it just drew Sage over, which is the kind of the importance of that lineup, making you think that you're closer than you actually are. Because when you're in reality, it was thrown from their own spawn, and they're ready to hit onto this A site instead.
Yeah, and they've got just such great control of the area. Botfrag Friends, though, goes down early on to a shot from Bruzy Woozy. So despite these shenanigans coming out from that lineup, things are still looking good for Hingy. They do have the gun advantage. We're going to see a little util thrown out to keep Tarquin away. They're going to actually rotate all the way around now as they're realizing the site hit is coming out onto B. But they've got a wall in the way. Stonewolf now going to try and prevent him from pushing out onto site with a molly, but they get through before it has the time to go off. They get caught out from Arcade as well.
Spike planted. One enemy
4v2, 4v1, just one player remaining now. Clickhead going to see how many they can take out on their way out, as there is not much chance of coming out of this alive. They are able to get one. Can they find another? Not quite. Defuse comes in again. Hingy up 2-0, looking to flip the script.
Yeah, good adaptations coming out from both sides. You saw Botfrag went for that, the bait play, the rotate, and the double rotate, and did get onto site. But it's great from Hingy to be wherever they were hitting at every time to force those adaptations to come out. They had very good idea of what was happening, and the Sage Wall was perfectly placed so they knew that they would be applying that aggression. And they just tore them apart with the gun advantage. Now with the gun disadvantage, I want to see how they're going to hold the play into that. It looks like they're going to do an early A main aggression to try and get up in their faces and make these Spectres most effective at their ideal range and put them in those scenarios with this 4-man aggression on this rope.
Oh, wow, look at that. Stefan catches Clickhead just cruising by, but then ABC makes them pay for that aggression. BFF in a very dominant position right now. They're going to be able to push out onto A site with impunity, as Daddy Longkev is going for the long rotate. They're gonna have to open that door though, and if you give away your position at a time like this, that just spells almost certain doom. But they may be able to get Capkin. Oh, they heard the TP come through. Now they know there's somebody there. It's a 2v1. They get the flash. Daddy Longkev's good for one. Can they find another? They know they're right around the corner. They do. All of a sudden, we have a 2v2. BFF now in a very unenviable position. Oh my gosh. There was just nothing Mithrander was going to be able to do. Just
That is so funny, just seeing his head just fly out from sight. It's like, it's kind of a testament to, that was a crazy swift retake from Hingy. They lost sight control, they lost the early battle in main, so you started to count them out of the round, but they isolate the duels on the retake, and still they're using the Spectres at the effective range, only shooting them about 10 meters. Like they're not peeking from from spawn onto site, like all the way across. They're taking these tighter angles, and it works out great. It does take an ult investment, but now they have a great economy advantage coming into this round. Full rifles across the board, and only a Sheriff and a Frenzy on the other side.
Oh, I love this lineup. I'm a lineup Larry myself, so I'm trying to figure out what he's doing to line that one up this time. Gonna land again. Detect Bruzy makes those TPs just paperweights for the moment.
I wish that he had held it a little bit longer so that they could use that to capitalize on it, because by the time they get over there, he's already got his TPs back. It doesn't end up mattering.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yep, and there he goes. And there he goes. Right, just like you said. Capkin gonna try and push in now through Arcade, throwing a lot of util up to see if they can keep Burzy at bay, but in the meantime, Bruzy Woozy finds him at a off angle, gets another, and oh my gosh, HNGI is just mowing down the bot frag friends, and Easel, this is the most dominant we've seen HNGI look tonight. I think that we know bot frag friends Achilles heel now.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about. Is Botfrag Friends just gonna choke on Fracture? It's hard because when you lose the pistol round, it's likely you're gonna lose the next, and then they just happen to lose the third round. So you start to think like, was it just an unfortunate situation of their economy spiraling, or is this indicative of what's gonna come? Is HNGI about to run away with it? If so, can we get a 13-0?
Right? I've gotten to cast one. I gotta say that. It's the kind of thing that you want to do, but then when you're in the moment, it just feels bad.
I know, you start to be like, no, please, anything to make it stop.
Yeah,
I just haven't
exactly.
gotten to see a team be that dominant yet. We did have a pretty dominant scoreline, but the other team was still getting some last round, and I just want to see it like, for their sake.
Wait, is that Capkin's second Rolling Thunder?
No. Yeah, it is.
No, that was the Rolling Thunder from BFF. Never mind. That was the Rolling Thunder from BFF. Coming in for the attack. Okay, so HNGI had a small disadvantage right now. Yeah, they're down one player, but Stonewolf going to equalize that. The trade does come in, so now we're back to that one-man advantage for BFF. Burzy,
look at how far back
a long time.
Chamber's holding this time. He got punished last time for holding so far forward. Oh, sorry, they're attacking. Oh, I got all mixed up and I interrupted. You know what? Just take it away.
You're good, my guy. Bruzy gonna even things up now. Spraying through the top there, see if they can find anybody. Nobody's up top. Is that? Oh, there's just one player remaining. The bot frag friends. They're gonna stop the bleeding. They're gonna stop the bleeding. They got a round on the board. That
was worrying, though, with the way that they were all sitting on site. You're thinking for a second, oh, just one lineup, just get around this corner and he'll sweep them. But they do prevent the 13-0 curse. Maybe we did a little bit of a curse on HNGI mentioning that as a possibility.
Yeah, right.
But HNGI's still in a good position with 3 ults on the line, and their economy is super strong. Look at Bruzy Woozy with 7,000 credits in the bank.
Yeah,
he's rolling.
This is Capkin's going to be oh no, wait, he doesn't have it. Never mind.
All right, it was a good attempt, but Bruzy Woozy didn't have to buy a gun. Instead, going to use the intuitive force to chamber diff ABC, and B site is locked down because of it.
We are gonna see smoke come out onto B site though, so definitely want to make sure nobody's coming out that way. With Rander going for a little sightseeing trip.
Well, it's been theorized that actually on those ropes you don't need to do the slow rope. It actually doesn't play enough audio for the other team to hear. But they are still playing it safe just in case that doesn't pan out to be true. There's been some testing on it more recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if that hasn't made its way over to them. And instead, it is going to be BFFs doing a super slow. They've slowed down this round to a halt. Now going to be going for that B hit. Presumably, because how else is the spike going to get onto a site in time?
Oh my gosh, but look at that. They find 3 of them. They know they're stacked up on B. Everybody's rotating because of it. They're now committed to this site because there's only 30 seconds left. Clickhead gonna try and go for a rotation, sneak up behind Burzy, and they might just catch them. No, they hurt. They're waiting for them to come around the corner. They click the head, TP away to a safer spot, but in the meantime, there is a trade, but that just leaves HNGI still in the lead. 13 seconds left to go to try and plant. They're gonna have to make this fast. Capkin gets one kill to even things out. They go for the plant, but it's gonna be an orbital strike coming in, preventing it again. There's a moment to go. They start the plant, I believe, just in time, but they get the kill regardless.
No, I'd say that plant started more like at 3.5 or maybe like a 2.7. Not really enough time for it to end up coming through.
Yeah.
Great delay on the side, just with the utility, and keeping in mind, okay, we have these ults in our pocket. Let's use them. Let's use them and get them right back up. Daddy Long kept back at 3 out of 7 on that, and if you're getting the frags, you're going to get these ults running through as fast as possible, so that way you can just keep recharging them, and they can provide such pivotal times because that plant could have very easily gone down. Instead, it is denied, and HNGI, although they lost a single round, they're still looking great. They still have a 5-1 lead, and that saved their economy from getting into maybe a questionable spot.
It did. It absolutely did. And now they're going to be able to kind of pick up just where they left off, right? And try to continue this dominance. Clickhead going to see if they can open things up, but a knife gets thrown out. It's destroyed, though, so no harm done. A little bit of information given, though. Burzy gets flashed and stunned. They're going to be disoriented and go down because of it. Bruzy, though, coming in big with the op all of a sudden. ABC says, I've got one of my own to Stonewolf. BFF's still one player down in HNGI. Everybody full health. Oh, ABC with a nice shot. Getting the better of Bruzy this time around. The tour de force. Opting for the rotation as well.
Opting for the rotate, but look at how well HNGI have read this. Look at where Breach is holding. They ran across the map before the rotation had even crossed the minds of the BFFs. So the BFFs are going to be walking straight into Daddy Longkev's hands, his welcoming arms waiting behind the box, just waiting for them to creep up. They're going to have to be hyper diligent to clear this angle, which is not an angle you would typically clear so late in the round.
You're right. But if they take this slow enough, they're going to be able to see his pistol pointing. Look, they see it. Oh, they didn't notice. It showed up on a beautiful lurk from Daddy Longkev.
And it plays out exactly how you would want it to. That's just not... If you're rotating, you don't need to re-clear all these angles because you don't have time. And it wouldn't make sense for a defender to have pushed that far forward if you just started rotating. But they read that. They read that beautifully. HNGI knew that they wanted to rotate before they knew that they wanted to rotate. And now Daddy Longkev, 10-2 on the scoreboard, looking more like his map 1 performance. And his map 1 performance is what gave them the opening picks, the opening duels, in combination with what Bruzy Woozy is doing. They're playing at a huge advantage almost every round, unless Stefan jumps out into these gun barrels.
Gonna be dropping back in a flash right there, setting up a wall, maybe? Thinking about it? Wants to? Doesn't want to?
It does. It comes through.
It does come through. All right. We're going to get a little util thrown out from Capkin to clear so that they can pick up the ult orb. And now that just might be a rotation, actually. Spike is still sitting in spawn, though. We're getting one player dropping back for it. B-side looking more and more like perhaps the intended hit. But the defense have read this as well. They've stacked 3 players over there. Most crucially, Bruzy with an op. Oh, here comes the Rolling Thunder. That's going to catch Bruzy. That should be an easy kill, but he TPs away in the nick of time, but into the waiting pistol of Clickhead, who gets traded out. But now there's just a flurry of kills in favor of HNGI. That's going to give him a 1-player advantage. Capkin with 30 HP, though. So not looking too great at the moment, but then again, neither is Breach on the other side. Being a Breach, a little bit of util to try and clear out Heaven. That's going to be a nice blind. Stonewolf now good for 1. And HNGI, this is more dominant. This is more dominant than Botfrag friends were on Haven.
Yeah, it completely is. Breach looking so good on this map. And I also want to point out Brimstone looking pretty good as well. I think I mentioned it last week, but I'm also a fan of Brimstone. You talked about it too. You're a fan of Brimstone.
Oh,
Brimstone's
I'm a Brim
really
main,
good
yeah.
on this map because they've kind of modified Brimstone. The purpose of his utility is to be good at close range executes. His smokes can't cover the whole map, and because of the way that Fracture's set up, no matter what site you're hitting or whatever site you decide on you're hitting, he has such good control over the whole thing. And so we're seeing that time after time.
What? Mythrander? Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt if you're Breach. That one right there. That'll hurt.
Yeah, he should have landed those shots.
Yeah.
But does get a second chance though.
Yeah, he'll get a second chance. Gives him an advantage. Not much of one, but a little bit of one. And my headset just died, so I'm gonna let you take this for just a second as I get it set back up.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Capkin does get that pick to keep a little bit of hold onto the site, but it ends up crumbling at the hands of Stonewolf and Stefan. Stefan contributing time after time, not the top frag, but still doing a heck of a lot for HNGI. And pretty close to it. You can see that triple top frag from the side of HNGI. They're getting the kills that are necessary where they were just falling up short. They're having such a good defense. And I think the best part about their defense is they're being so predictive. And I would wager that they were thinking about what made Botfrag friends bad bad in the last map. And if they can just predict what sites they're going to go to, they just have such a good read, and they're there before they even need to be there. And they always have 3 people at the site that ends up being hit. That's why defense is so nice on Fracture. Sure, you can come at it from 4 different sides, top, bottom, vertical, zipline, whatever. But the defense can just do a little hop, skip along in the middle, and then they're there too. So I love what we're seeing from HNGI, and I'm glad I kept I messed up. But I'm glad I kept my HNGI coins invested, my Bambling coins on the side of HNGI, because they are making me proud.
I've bambled too hard.
You bought into the narrative, into the bot frag friends, but it doesn't end up panning out because bot frag friends, they don't have an answer. They've tried so many different things on this attacking side, and HNGI have been ready for every single one of them. And with 3 players at a 2-1 KD, they're just winning the gun battles when it comes down to it.
Yeah, they are, and they're. It's not looking hard. Oh, this is a new lineup, a new KO lineup. Oh, that one is good too. But in the meantime, despite the lineup, we've got a couple of big kills in favor of HNGI once again. Botfrag friends, this push has just been crippled at the knees.
Yeah, they're just left sitting. Neon has a little bit of space in sewers, but that's not real space. Like, it just puts you right back where you started, but nobody on the other side. Yeah, nobody wants that. And Burzy with an off angle finally contributes again. They've been doing so much better on this map than the previous ones. And they just seem more comfortable on it, if I'm going to be honest. And now the spike's going to peek out to the smoke right into the arms of Stonewolf once again. Nobody to support, really, but it all comes down to Mythrander nonetheless.
Yeah, Mythrander gonna have to have the hero plays here. They were so great on the Yoru. I wish we were going someplace where they shown again. They're gonna peek out. They're good for 1, but not a second. And HNGI, it's 9-1. I don't know what else to say here. What can botfrag friends do?
Well, if you're asking me, I think that they need to focus on their solo site hits. They have the potential of the firing power. They have like the potential energy. They just need to release it. They've just been going so slow because they'll just, a single one of them will get shut down, and then it doesn't feel like they know how to respond to that, and the whole round ends up falling apart. But I just want to see. It's like when I'm losing with my teammates, and I'm like, okay, guys, just put down the brim smokes, do the flashes, and do the shocks, and we could literally just use all of our utility, and we'll have sight. That's all we need to do. And that's honestly, I feel the same thing from them. They like, none of them have more than 6 kills. 4 of them have 6 kills. If they just use their utility together and all at once, they can overwhelm and they can take one of these sites.
Yeah. Let's see it. Let's see him pull it off. Let's see him do it. Let's see him make a game of this. Not out of it yet. 4 rounds. They gotta hold on to 4 rounds here.
If they can get it to 9-3, then the curse can be activated and the narrative can continue.
Facts. That is the new goal now for botfrag friends. They gotta win 2.
But they're on an eco already.
Yeah, that's so rough.
Tough. Oh, and it gets shut down right away from Stonewolf.
Yeah.
They need to show a reaction to this and to still use their utility to clear these angles, which it looks like Neon tries. It's Stonewolf with 3.
What? What was that? Stonewolf just proving to be a stone wall in front of the botfrag friends. You can't stun a wall.
No, and that's 4 kills on the round, almost an ace from Stonewolf. We haven't had a lot of eyes on Stonewolf, and out of nowhere, a huge round putting them at the top of the leaderboard. 16-6 now. That's very nearly a 3-1 KD. And when you're dominating, of course you're gonna have a KD, but that's a really good KD. And Brimstone. He's Brimmy with the stimmy. I haven't seen a lot of the stimmy, if we're gonna be fair, but it's in his back pocket, ready to be brought out at any given notice.
Yeah, we saw it a lot early on, right? Wasn't it? They had 18 assists, I think, in game 1. You know, we weren't even done with it at that point. So, quick flash. Yeah, that's gonna make them move away very quickly. What an aggressive push from the BFFs. They're just going for it now at this point. They're just full sending it. They've got nothing left to lose. We're going to see the null command come in as well as they push onto B site. It's going to be a fairly easy plant coming in. We see here the ult come out as well. That pushes Chamber away. They're going to have to go back out for the plant once again, but now people are in a better position to try and prevent this. It's going to be Click Head going for a shot, but Bruzy, what is this? Huge picks coming in all of a sudden. HNGI has mowed down the competition. Just one player left remaining. They know exactly where he is. Oh, no, they don't. They've got no clue where he is. He's able to get the ult off. He's down B long, but now they're aware. Now they can start to defuse. There's a wall in the way. They get a kill, but that's all they're going to have to show for it.
What was that shot on the rope? By no means should they be hitting these shots, but when you have the confidence, when you have an 11-1 lead now, you can afford to spray like that. And oh my gosh, Daddy Long Live getting that kill. It really opens them up the round and crushes BFF, seeing their team fall right before them. All of them have 6 kills. All of them have only killed 6 people this entire half. Almost everyone on the side of HNGI is fragging above them. It is only Bursey once again. Bursey, come on. If you can get one more kill, you guys win the game.
Right? Exactly. This is, oh my gosh. I mean, you hate to call it, but at this point, I just don't see bot frag friends coming back in this. I just don't see how they can. Pistol round here. If HNGI wins this pistol round, it's all but over. They're gonna be dropping back for the spike. Deciding not to go to B, looking like maybe more of an A push, but there's 3 defenders over there actually, so this is a less advantageous position. But already HNGI up 1, taking Capkin out of the equation, their main initiator gone. Now that's going to be 2 players. Clickhead goes down as well, and just bot frag friends, I think they're falling apart at this point. I think it's unfortunate, but I think that's what's happening.
I know when I'm losing and I get right-clicked, that's just like being spat in the face. Stormwolf with another kill, did in the Brimstone diff to start to close out the round, and now they're getting the digits of Mythbrander, and there's nothing left to do. And that brings us to that point. HNGI are destroying bot frag friends. Wow, I really didn't think it would go this way, if anything, but they had a sliver. They had a sliver to work with, and they just tore that wide open and made it the biggest opportunity, making it look like they're not even in the same elo.
Right. Let's talk about how this night started, right? This night started with a 5-7 first half. That was very close. That was constantly back and forth. One team and then the other. And then we get to see bot frag friends just go wild on Haven. And now it's the exact same thing from HNGI. Look at this very aggressive push coming out from bot frag friends. They're just, again, they're full sending it. They've got nothing to lose. Oh my gosh. The site's completely open on B. They're starting to rotate over there now.
Yeah, the BFF have gone for the aggression on the other side of the map, but they just
full
sort of end up
goblin mode.
rotating around each other. Neither of them really have anything to lose. It's like, bot frag friends, you have so many maps to go that it doesn't matter, or like you have so many rounds, so you're so desperate. And on the other side, HNGI have so many to fall back on if they lose this one, and now they have a good control on site, and the timer is ticking away.
Capkin takes a shot, doesn't find anything. They're going to shut down that upper area for a moment now. With that molly, Stefan going to be able to take out 1, take out 2. It's just 1 player remaining. It's going to be Capkin seeing what they can do. They're going to peek around this corner. They don't find what they need. HNGI for a 13-1 win over the bot frag friends. What a way to end this evening. I mean, I didn't, clearly my Bambling Coins show, I did not see this coming.
I had faith. I studied the stats, I studied the books, and I knew that eventually it was going to play out exactly how I had. Well, I can say that retroactively, but HNGI, we didn't know as much about them, but the fact that they weren't relying necessarily on specific people to frag, we talked about them before. They have a lower firepower. They have firepower, but they're using other things to win games and different strats, and they didn't look as good on Haven, but that was the only map that they didn't look good on. Because with that dominating win at Fracture, now bot frag friends are 0-2 on Fracture. I think they're just going to start perma-banning Fracture after that, or especially after going 1-13.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough right there. That's a feels bad. That's a feels bad. But, HNGI got to be feeling great right now, because what a story for them, right? The mental that they had to have to come back from that 13-4 loss on Haven and to show an even more dominating performance. That's something else. HNGI is a team to watch out for. HNGI is a team to watch out for.
The fact that they have lower rated players, Bruzy Woozy and Burzy, both are Plat 2 as opposed to the rest of the lobby being Diamond, and they're still fragging out. Sure, Burzy is at the bottom, but it's Bruzy Woozy at the top. We had so many doubts about Bruzy Woozy, but Bruzy just went crazy with it and did way more than they needed to, and that is what gave them the map. That was overall, I was like, this is going to be the big question mark on this team. And, well, Burzy wasn't a question at all. They were an exclamation mark.
Yeah, they really, really were. I'm glad that we saw that. I can't wait to see what comes out next from this team. I want to take a look at the schedule right now and just see who they're going to be playing next. So I'm going to take a moment to pull that up, Easel, because we're going to have some more information here soon, just with how the other games are going. So HNGI goes up against LCD next week, and LCD took a 2-0 win in week number 1. I don't know how they're performing at the moment. Might be able to find that.
I'm sure it wasn't a 13-1 on Fracture. And the thing is, we know this wasn't just a team diff. These teams are teams that are close in skill level, teams that have went a lot of back and forth on that first map too. And in the end, it's HNGI showing, well, sure, we're the same level of skill, but we have a lot more to bring to the table on map number 3. And because of that, I nominated Stone Wolf as the matchup MVP. Stone Wolf on that final map went 18-6. Sure, it's the same as Daddy Longkev, who'd have the exact same KD, but Stone Wolf, I felt like, provided so much with their utility and the 8 assists. And sure, the other thing I wanted to note at is they didn't do as well on map number 2, going only 11-13, really not showing up on that Omen. But they were in the background the whole time, always supporting, and on map number 1 as Viper. That Viper wall was doing so much, and those Viper ults. And so, Stone Wolf, great job on everything in these games, and it was good gameplay to watch.
It was, and love to see it. As a Brim main, makes me happy. Brimmy with the stimmies, coming in with the MVP. What a wild night. What a wild night of Valorant.
The thing is, though, huge shout out to the rest of the team. I picked Stone Wolf, but you could easily give this to Bruzy Woozy for showing up most when they need him. You could give this to Daddy Longkev, Kev, for having a million first bloods once again, or even to Steven for fragging out even on the game that they lost. They all contributed. Burzy, you can do it next week. But everyone else contributed so much.
Well, hey, sometimes you show up in other ways aside from the kill feed. I mean,
exactly. The scoreboard doesn't tell the whole
myself
story.
When I'm bottom fragging on Brimstone. So
I feel that. Great work from the teams, though.
Absolutely. Well, that's gonna do it, I believe, for us here tonight. So thank you all so much for tuning in here. If you've enjoyed what you've seen tonight, if you've enjoyed our casting, you can follow us. Our information is right down there below us. So hit us up on Twitter, drop us a follow, help support us. I'm 15 away from 1,500 followers, by the way. So I'm just saying, chat. I'm just saying.
You're kind of crazy. I'm only one away from 124 followers, guys. So
yeah,
be sure
you
to
got
run
it.
Up.
That big 124. I remember that one. I remember that. That was user OB3 Kenobi. I don't know. I'm going for Star Wars.
Huge shout out to RhinoVod for producing and observing on this. Great job. Love working with Victoris Esports and putting all this on. And well, it's been a fantastic evening. I do want to give one more shout out. At the end of it, to Dole, head of Valorant, for providing us with a couple of those stats. I scraped some from Tracker GG, but I did reference Dole's tracker sheet. So huge props to Dole. And, well, stick around at Victoris Valorant. We got a lot of good content coming in the next couple weeks.
All right, well, thank you all very much. That's going to do it for us from here. GG's, and see you next time.